like it.
Yep, didn't work on the first try. Maybe on the second try it will. There we are. There we go. Third try.
Third time's a charm.
As they all say.
Alright, cool. Good morning, afternoon, and evening all, and welcome to round 2 of the Artito Racing Formula 3 Championship here at Silverstone, Britain. And welcome to In the VC, the show that discusses all the news and events taking place in the virtual paddock. I'm Kendrick Garlic, and joining me on the desk as usual is Kendrick. And Kendrick, it's been a bit of a while. How you going?
I'm fine. Apart from the torrential storm, or rather the typhoon here, bothering the Philippines, it's all
Hmm.
alright up until if the power came out.
Yeah, so the power goes out, hands are a wee bit tied in terms of what we can do. But hopefully all shall be well in the next couple hours.
Yes, hopefully. Um, I'm not expecting. I'm not expecting to be for it to go out anytime soon anyway, since it's already moving out of the country.
That's good to hear. But alongside the storm moving out of the Philippines, there's been quite a lot that's happened between rounds, honestly.
Yes, that is true. Storm somewhere else is currently developing, but this storm is between the drivers.
Yeah, certainly. It's also between the stewards and the drivers,
Yes.
unfortunately. Um, for those of you who aren't quite aware, there was a wee bit of a miscommunication between the stewards and the drivers in terms of track limits in round 1 of Hockenheim. You may remember on the previous broadcast, our race director Flying Sand was getting increasingly angry at drivers abusing the track limits coming out of turn 1. And as a result, there was a significant amount of penalties handed down to the drivers,
True.
both in race 1 and race 2, which did actually end up shaking the race order for the final results. And I think the biggest story really is that for race 2, unfortunately, Rohe had his win rescinded, and instead, Felipe Sado received the win for race 2 of round 1.
Well, that was quite unfortunate for the Iron Will Jamaican, but still, he insisted to persist and move on to the next round.
Yep, and I do think he's going to eventually get his win in the coming rounds. If not this round, then I suspect in the following. We
Yes.
know from previous experiences he's very strong at Monza. That's a track that he seems to excel at quite well. And if he's been able to get to grips with this F3 quite spectacularly, honestly, he's been leading the way for Mystery Gang Red Bull Racing, being able to challenge the likes of Yakutori and Kamekame. And I think that it is simply just a matter of time and the stars aligning well enough for the Jamaican to be able to get the win that he so desires.
Right. Most especially, he is showing his true potential out there. He's really giving out his best to for the team and also for his personal career.
Yes, certainly. Although I think the mystery does not end on the other side of the garage for Mystery Gang Red Bull Racing. For those who watched the race last week, you would know that unfortunately Scoob had internet issues and he ended up scoring 0 points in the first round.
Yeah, unfortunately for the he's Indonesian, right?
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Indonesian driver, uh, internet problems still persisted, uh, which started developing from what we known before as the Formula 3 Sundays, right?
Yes, it was.
And still continues to haunt him, unfortunately.
Mm. But from what I've seen in his practice, he's been able to set up some consistent times, and he hasn't had the internet issues persisting. I remember he set a 45.9 with a theoretical of 45.7. Currently, the time in the practice session, which we will go into within about half an hour's time, fastest time at the moment is 1:45.895 from Sato. So he certainly has the pace to be able to challenge the top guys. But so long as the internet issue doesn't persist, I can see him scoring a podium today.
Yeah, for the Yakitori boys, it's not impossible for them to see a victory in there somewhere. They
No.
it's it's something like they've already have it on their back pockets already. So yeah.
Well, you do say that actually, but I have been informed that Ballista may not be racing today.
Oh really? That's quite some news right there. So
Yeah.
I believe
Due to, due
would
to,
he be substituted by the sister team?
I believe so. It depends if Raya's racing. I'll double check the attendance, but I remember looking at the attendance and seeing that Ballista was tentative as to whether he'd be able to come today or not. So it wasn't a confirmation either way. So we may
Okay.
still see him, yes, but it's unlike from it's not like I'm sorry, from the Japanese driver because usually he's very persistent in terms of being able to attend any Artito race on time and in fashionable style.
I
But
see.
it will be interesting to see if he doesn't attend how the championship will play out because the driver who hasn't made an appearance yet this season but is today and has very eagerly waited today is Alessio Seri, the Italian
Yes.
driver.
Notorious name
And
from the Formula 3 Sunday Cup in Bahrain.
yes, scoring I think what can be described as a perfect race weekend, getting the pole position,
Eh,
fastest lap, and both race wins.
Yeah. Perfect outing for Alessio Siri. The Italian is really proving his talent out there, alongside with the grits of Ballista, Sato, Raj, Scoobs, and Rohe, with all the
Yes,
likes.
certainly. So the top five is actually starting to shape up quite interestingly. Someone, speaking actually of the top five, actually, someone who did very well for themselves last weekend was Raven. Raven, the
Yes.
only female driver, of course, teammate with Turbolobe for Kamikano Racing. She scored a second as a result of the penalties being given out in the first race, and then obviously she retired as a result of damage in the second race. But that has shot her into, I believe, either third or fourth position in the championship.
I've um it looks like that she adapted well to the cars
Yeah,
from early on.
so she's been able to get to grips with the car quite nicely. Whether we'll be able to see that today is a bit of a question mark. She has said to the rest of the drivers as well as the stewards that she may not have the pace that she has today, as Silverstone just doesn't quite seem to be clicking for her. But her performance in the first round at Hockenheim has certainly made Kamekame contenders for second place within the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah, I mean adaptability is also part of the talent of the drivers that they have to show. So well done
Mhm.
on her for that.
I think another driver who also is deserves of some praise is Lakebun, the Indonesian driver for Saterio Racing, number 67. He has shown quite impressive pace, actually, in the first two races. As a result of the penalties being given out, he ended up finishing ninth in the first race and fourth in the second. Of course, as a result of differing circumstances, the Rohe finishing lower in the first race, Scoob not scoring points at all, Sandra as well not scoring that many points in comparison to where his pace was suspected to be. Lakebun is currently in sixth position and only 4 points behind fifth.
Oh, congratulations to the for the fellow Indonesian driver. I mean, if we can continue up that what would you call it, results of his, then I think he might have a good outing for the championship, especially for
Yeah,
the standings.
I suspect we'll get a clearer picture as we come out of the round two and onto round three, which will be at Imola, where the championship is starting to form up in terms of not only where the leading pack is, but where the drivers battling for like the top 5 positions, the top 10 positions, and how that will start to play out.
Ooh, I mean, we have 8 races in the championship. If we could see it develop from an early standpoint from round three, that would be. Uh, what would you think? Would you think that some teams would be dominating too much if that's the case?
Maybe. I feel like Yakutori is just a team that's expected to do well regardless, unless they have some sort of like horrible incident or get involved in a crash of some description. But I think the battle between the rest of the teams, the likes of Brabham, likes of Kamekani, Soteria, that's still a bit of a question mark. But I think as we come out of this round, it will start to form a bit of a clearer picture. As I did say beforehand, Raven is struggling on this track, but another driver that is struggling is Joss Mitchell for Soteria Racing. So there's going to be a bit of a balancing out in terms of that, and maybe Brabham can capitalize on that with the stronger showing in comparison to their rivals.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that coming out of this round, the pitch will start to be a little clearer, but it won't be definitive.
Yeah, hopefully that will be the case because I'm not one of those. I'm not a big fan about dominating. I want those fight until the last breath championships. You know what I mean? Like in 2012 in
Yeah,
Formula One, that there were what, like 7 contenders for the title, or six rather.
yeah.
Yeah, I want to see a championship like that where it's a fight till the end.
Well, I think the format lends itself to that type of championship, and that will have drivers having to go from the back of the pack to the front if they win the first race or get within the podium positions in the first race. And that can obviously cause a bunch of instances, getting caught up with traffic, even some drivers getting penalised if they're a little too impatient to get up in front of their competitors.
Yes, that's
So it does play towards that type of championship developing.
yeah, that's the good thing about the reverse grid races. It gives the opportunity for the other drivers as well to
Mm.
get the chance, hopefully get the chance to take the win, or at least a podium spot in there
Yeah,
somewhere.
so. And something of interest I think should be mentioned is G. Of course, G in the preseason test race at Fuji performed very well for himself, finishing second and battling for the first position for race 2 all the way down to the wire. But we didn't quite see that pace at Hockenheim, and he did confirm to us that he was struggling with Hockenheim as a circuit, just couldn't quite get the car to click around the track. And we know that G has pace within his F3, and I believe he has raced these F3s around Silverstone beforehand. So I'm curious, Kenjake, as to where you think G is going to end up finishing this race as a result of that.
Oh, by the things that you mentioned, I would probably place him within the top 5. G is a
Mm.
very strong player. Not to mention that he's only well, not sorry, not only, but he's playing on a controller and he's doing quite good with it. The pace itself shows, and the talent and experience that he has will probably, well, not probably, will really guide him. And I mean, the experience itself, that's what I can say for that will help him go for the top 5, or at least the top 3.
Interesting. Top 3 finish for G. Your prediction, not mine.
Yeah.
I reckon he'll finish within around the top 5 or so. I do think he has the pace to be able to challenge the likes of Sardo, Scoob, to the two mystery gang Red Bull racing cars. He certainly has the capability to fight up amongst that echelon of driver. It's just a matter of whether he's able to keep that race pace
Yeah, I'm talking.
for the entire race.
Yeah, I'm talking about this from experience with battling with him from the MX5. He is really gritty. He knows how to get those elbows out. He knows how to fight. He knows to attack. He knows when to defend. He is pretty much capable of being a top 3 driver in there somehow.
Yeah, he's a very cerebral driver. He's very intelligent with his racecraft and his racing ability. So I think he'll be able to use that to the best of his ability for the second race if he doesn't start finishing towards the front of the pack.
Yes.
And I believe that's all the drivers, but also something of note that we should mention before going into the race broadcast is the track limits for this race.
Yes.
So, of course, we had the issue with Hockenheim in that the track limits weren't very clearly distinguished for the drivers. The FIAR, so our stewarding body for this league, has drawn up some visual aids, making it much more clear as to what the track limits are for the entire racetrack. We do have them here for you. If I don't have the
Yes.
stream open, so I'm going to
Yeah.
assume you're looking at them. Yep.
Yeah. The stream is looking at it right now. It's
Excellent.
visible.
So the one that I have on the moment here is Abby, and so the red line is essentially the cutoff points to which the full car is allowed to go off the track. So the rule that the stewarding teams has decided upon is that 2 tires must always be within the white lines at all times. If you're able to keep that, then it is considered acceptable. So hopefully be able to see my mouse here. If the car is running just along like this curb as an example with their left tires, then it's perfectly fine. But if they're cutting across entirely, not only they're probably going to get on the grass and lose time anyway, but that will be penalised as a result. So that is turn 1 at Abbey. Next one is turn 5 at Angtree. So this is the exit here. Of course, you have a lot of this AstroTurf here. And this corner will open up towards the DRS point. You can just see the DRS signs just here and here, as well as the change of the tarmac. And the you do get rewarded in terms of time if you open the car up all the way towards the asphalt, because you're not worrying about traction too much. You're already at a mid to high speed section of the track there anyway. Traction isn't that much of an issue. So again, the steering team has decided to cut off the point on the red line there. So if your entire car crosses that red line there, which in effect is just the white line, you will receive a infraction. If you get 3 infractions throughout the race, depending on the corner, then you will get a penalty. So this here is turn 6 in Brooklands. So this is the apex of the corner here. So drivers are able to gain time if they're able to hop over that curb.
Yeah.
I think it's about maybe a tenth and a half or so. So again, as I said beforehand, if you can keep your right side tires on within the white lines there, you're able to cut as much of that. But if you've gotten towards the curbs there, then of course it's going to be an infringement and 3 strikes you're out. This is the exit of turn 7 or Luffield. So this is a similar issue with entry in that you can gain more time if you take a wider exit through there. It's less so with less of an issue with Luffield as opposed to Antry, as this is a bit of a traction zone. But you still do gain some time, and this goes on towards a long straight anyway. So same rules apply beforehand. Now this will probably be a problem corner. Turn 9, Cops.
Corpse, yeah.
So for some reason, Assetto Corsa does not have very good standard parameters for cutting off the track here.
Yep.
I believe you can go all the way to this black bit here and you won't get an infringement.
Yes.
And in high downforce cars, you do end up gaining more time if you just go fully flat out, cut across the green asphalt onto this black bit, and then come back onto the track as fast as possible. You can get upwards of half a second because not only are you extending that corner dramatically so there's less steering angle, but you're also getting a faster exit out of Cops towards Magus and Beckett.
Yeah.
And this is a very long straight, well, not a straight, but bit of a
it's a bit of a kink there, so to set you up for the famous 3 corners of Beckett's and Chapel, Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel.
Yeah, it's a very high speed section of the course, so you are able to benefit quite a lot if you're able to get a nice exit. So the stewards said, nope, this is the hard rules here. If you go 4 wheels over the white lines, then you're going to get an infraction here. And this one's definitely going to be a problem area. I suspect in the post-race investigations, there'll be one that the stewards will have a close look at.
Yep. I mean, can I speak from experience from the corner corpse? Even with the MX-5, even if you're not using a high downforce car, you are able to capitalize if you extend past the AstroTurf. Once you get to the black bits, you can still maintain your speed. And even with the MX-5, those things are low powered. You're still able to keep up the speed throughout the corner. I mean,
so
it's pretty much a what we call the esports line. If you went past the AstroTurf, which I am not a big fan of. It's ruining the integrity of the motorsport. At least virtually as well.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think the stewards agreed with that decision and decided to try to keep it within some realm of realism and some realm of sportsmanship for the round. And I suspect this will be a universal philosophy going with the rounds in the future. We have a couple more corners left. This is turn 15. So this is Stoke. So this corner here, the cars will be going through the apex here and opening out. And if you go through at this point, there's a chicane, a bit of a straight there. But you do gain more time if you cut this part of the track here.
Yeah.
If you go out too wide, you're going to end up flowing up like this AstroTurf, and it's a longer distance for the car, so you're going to end up losing time. But there's a small cut you can make here to be able to gain some time. So again, stewards have said if you can keep 2 wheels on the black stuff, then that's perfectly fine. But if you're going beyond that, then you're going to get pulled up by the post-race investigations. Now this is the exit of turn 17 towards turn 18. Don't suspect it's going to be a problem area because this is a bit of a traction zone here.
This is within Stowe, right?
This is turn 18, so this is club.
Okay, sorry, it's club. Okay.
Yeah. So just on the left here is the chicane just before the front straight. We don't suspect this will be a problem area here because not only is it a traction zone, but this is a very larger opening of the corner to the extent that it probably isn't beneficial for time.
Yeah.
But it has just been cleared out, made clear in case this does become a point of contention for post-race investigations. And then this is the exit towards the main straight here. Again, pretty clear as what's been stated beforehand. All 4 tires past the red line, which is in effect the white line on track. You're going to get an infraction. 3 strikes, you're out. This section could be an issue depending on how drivers want to take it. But I think just because of the nature of the corner and that it's very shallow apex as well as the high downforce car, it might not be as big an issue as the stewards may suspect, but it's one to look out for.
I mean, it's good for the drivers as well because it goes to show how patient they can be with the throttle and their control with the throttles.
Yes. Now, something that should be mentioned is due to resource constraints, these track limits as described beforehand, so all these ones here, they're only going to apply for the race. For qualifying, the stewards have elected to use the inbuilt limits, which will include the horrendous...
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this horrendous corner here. So you are gonna probably see drivers taking quite a bit of liberties for their qualifying times, but for the race, the stewards have elected to maintain these track limits. Of course, the issue for qualifying is that it's a process to be able to go through each individual fastest time in the allotted time that we have. Because alongside it being a 15-minute session, you've got maybe about 2 minutes maximum between that and the race, and placing grid penalties on the drivers within that time is a pretty much impossible process. Like, you'd have to stop time itself to be able to do that within time. So the stewards have just said, we're going to make it equal for everyone. We're going to let the game implement the limits, however egregious they may be, for qualifying, but then for the race, you're playing by our rules.
Nice. That's a very good way to govern the track limits of the track, especially in AC where the system is and the engine is fairly old now and can't keep up with the standards that we are used to nowadays. So yeah,
yes,
I think it's a good compromise between what you said about gentlemanly agreements and the integrity of racing itself.
Yeah, so I suspect the race director will bring that up in the race briefing. He'll also be joining us after the race briefing for qualifying and the race as well. So expect to hear the illustrious voice of Flying Siren, our race director here at Artito Racing, in the coming minutes. But for now, that pretty much concludes the pre-race show in the VC. Unless you've got anything else you want to mention before we go to break, Kendrick?
I mean, we still have 4 minutes to go for the official timing of the pre-race show. So yeah, I guess we could banter around. Why not?
Fair enough. We did the Mexican Grand Prix, separate from Artito Racing on this weekend.
Mm-hmm. I'm rooting for Checo to win. He deserves to win in his home race.
I think everyone is, honestly. I'd be surprised if you find people not rooting for Checo, because both championships are closed up now, so drivers are just fighting pretty much.
If you said that, then who deserves to win in the British GP? When there's currently three British drivers in the Formula 1. That's difficult, right?
I'd say Norris. I reckon he deserves a win.
Yeah, I mean, I have sympathy for Lewis Hamilton because I really want Max Verstappen to win, but the way he won isn't quite fair to the rules of what the sport is. You just don't let the cars in between you and the championship contender pass. If you're going to let the lap cars pass, you have to let all of them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it would be fairer if they would finish the safety car. I mean, if they would finish the race with the safety car on, that would be much more fair.
Yeah. I think I remember hearing a pretty concise comment. I'm not sure if it was on the Sky Spectators or just someone I was conversing with about the result of the race, but they pretty much summed it up as both drivers deserved the championship, but Hamilton deserved Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, they both deserve the championship. They're clearly hungry for it. So why not? I would not close the door on anyone between the two of them who deserves the championship more. It's obviously both of them that deserve it.
Yeah, both quite incredible drivers. And I remember reading recently that Red Bull's been hit with a fine for their exceeding the budget cap from, I think it was last year, or it might be this year.
Yeah,
Not entirely certain.
I think they pretty much got away with it fairly easy than expected.
Yeah.
A fine is a fine. Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's still bad, but it's it's not harsh. What
No.
I would call it, especially
I
for
think
the team's budget at
yeah,
this
and I
point,
think you have to consider like the whole business surrounding um
right?
Formula One itself. In that, while yes, you obviously have the cash prizes you get for winning the championship itself, the teams benefit a lot more from like the merchandise sales and the sponsorship like deals that they have if they win the championship itself. Like, I mean, let's be honest here. How many like Red Bull shirts or like caps or whatnot was sold during the 2021 season, and then after Abu
I
Dhabi as
mean,
well when he won the championship?
even if you remove those numbers from the merchandise, just think how many cans are sold. Red Bull cans are sold everywhere.
Mm.
That itself is already a moneymaker for Red Bull.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We have about minute 20
Yeah,
seconds or so.
Yeah, I guess. You know what? Let's save the last minute for Dietrich, the co-founder of Red Bull. Moment of silence for him.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
All right, so with that, we conclude the pre-race in the VC with Kindred Garlic. So yeah, how about you,
Excellent.
Kindred?
When we return, we'll be going to our pre-race broadcast. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a moment.
Yep.
There's simply nothing like it. That heart in your mouth, adrenaline through your veins type feeling. The most dramatic of highs, and the most crushing of lows. All to the choir of man and machine pushed to its limit. This is action. This is emotion. This is Artito Racing Formula 3. And 6 red lights, and away we go! You can see a big crash going up.
Big crash going up. Rouge.
The first time he'll go for a move on the inside, and Lissa has a late braking, but he won't have the inside line capacity to Sato. What a great move. He'll go towards the inside as well.
Oh, Rory!
The secret assassin, the Iron Will Jamaican.
Last move.
So he's gonna go. Miko sits right, Raj goes left.
Miko goes
Last
defensive.
late breakers here, and Raj is able to make it on the second to last corner.
He makes it stick.
From the remnants of an RAF runway in the British Midlands came a circuit that has defined both British and international motorsport. And today we race on this historic track. Welcome one and all to the British Grand Prix for round 2 of the Artito Racing Formula 3 Championship here at Silverstone. I'm Kendrick Garlic, and joining me in the commentary box as usual is Ken Jake. And Ken Jake, there's a lot of anticipation for this one.
Yep, apart from the storm brewing outside in our house, there's a storm brewing in here with the drivers and the teams competing to one another.
And this competition will kick off within the hour. Currently, we have about 25 minutes of practice left in the session. We will then go into a 15-minute qualifying for today's first of two 14-lap races. We will then follow with a second full reverse grid race, which will occur immediately after, pushing the fastest drivers of race 1 to the technical limit and creating very exciting racing along this historic track. Drivers will have access to 3 tyre compounds this round, the soft, medium, and hard, with a fuel stop being required to make it home, so expect to see strategy play out a part in today's proceedings. So with all that said, sit back, get comfy, and get ready. This is the round 2 of the Artito Racing Formula 3 Championship here at Silverstone.
Rightio. Glad to be back here, you know?
Yes, it's always good to come back to Silverstone, of course, the birthplace of the official Formula 1 Championship, the first race occurring here in 1950. And today we race, not quite Formula 1s, but we still race open real Formula cars anyway.
Yep,
Around what
yeah, go on.
around what has become pretty much the jewel of British motorsport.
Well, not only that, this is the best stadium what Britain can offer for us.
Absolutely. And today we have, currently, it looks as though...
I was gonna joke apart from what do you call that again? The stadium of Manchester United.
Old Trafford.
Old
There
Trafford.
you go. Some fan you are.
Well, I am a fan of multiple organizations and teams throughout Europe, so yeah, it's very hard to remind myself of the stadium names.
You gotta keep track of all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
But someone we, I think, should be willing to keep track of is a newcomer to the league, really, Alessio Siri, who has broken into the 44s, 44.8 from the Italian driver. And as we said in the previous show, a low anticipation from surrounding this driver for his first race in the officially sanctioned Artito Racing Championship.
Well, is this the start of our very own Valentino Rossi? Who knows?
Yes, could be very much.
We should call him Italian Jesus from now on.
We're gonna need to come up with some sort of moniker for him.
Yeah, exactly. I would even call him the Doctor if he proves himself right.
Fair enough, honestly. Indeed, that clinical in his approach to racing.
Ooh, good detail.
But another driver we also have here who, of course, has raced in other officially sanctioned Artito Racing Championship races, but hasn't raced this season so far, is Raj. Raj, of course, hailing from India. He wasn't able to compete in the first race, unfortunately, due to personal matters, but he is here today.
Also
and,
one of the privateer teams, right?
Yes, he is one of the privateer teams. So the privateers seem to be setting the pace in comparison to the rest of the pack. But Raj already setting the timing sheets ablaze, the 45-1, fastest of the 45 drivers,
Wow.
which consists of the top 5. Of course, we have Miko in 3rd, Sato in 4th, leading the way for Yakutori Racing, and Scoob in 5th, leading the way for Mr. Gang Red Bull Racing.
And currently, as of now, as I can see in the timing sheets, Ballista is currently here in the server.
Is he? Oh, he is.
He is.
I didn't even realize. So Ballista will be racing today. There was a bit of a question mark as to whether he will be racing or not, but it seems as though he's made it at least for practice. So
Plenty of time for practice. I mean, seriously, does he need practice?
well, he's going up against Alessio, and we know how fast he is. Of course, those two competing very strongly at the Bahrain race, and Alessio getting the upper hand on the established Japanese veteran. The question is whether we'll see that today. Honestly, is yet to be seen.
Good. It's good to see them fighting each other on the top spot once again. Spicy qualifying, we'll see.
Yes, absolutely. It'll be very interesting qualifying. But with about 20 minutes left in practice, I think we have a race briefing in about 5 minutes or so, dependent on when our race director will get his act together. But I think G has joined the session, so he is currently sitting 7th. He's only logged 1 lap so far. But we were mentioning that G was a bit of a dark horse coming into this race, and it seems that he has the 1 lap pace at the very least around Silverstone. Whether he'll be able to convert that into the race pace, we see his livery. I'm still not entirely sure what it's inspired by. I think it's inspired by some sort of like album cover, maybe.
Yeah, he did mention that it was inspired by an album of some sort. I don't know which one in particular, but it is inspired by a album. And as we can see, Miko on the left side of the screen, who had a moment before the straight.
Testing the limits of the track. Hopefully, he won't be doing that in the race. So he's going to get copped with a penalty. But Miko in P4, Sato goes 2nd. So Sato's leading the way for Yakutori Racing. Of course, we do know that Ballista is usually a little slower in practice, but you'll bring the pace up in the qualifying and the race.
Deliberately slow.
Yes, bringing out those sandbags. But we do have the race director who's just joined us. Flying Sand, how you going?
Hey, how are we this morning?
Mr. Race Director. Cold, but I'm good with cold coffee as well.
I see there's 20 minutes left in practice. Alright, Ballista's not on 7 lap time. Interesting.
Yeah, we still get to see lap time from the Japanese driver yet, but we do know that he has a tendency to wait until the last moment to truly show his pace.
Raj is pretty on the pace based on this evidence as well. Let's see.
Yep. And someone that is actually missing. I didn't mention it until Tob told me about this. Sendra is unfortunately not racing today. He's actually racing actual Formula cars at a Scudeba circuit.
I was gonna say unfortunate, but that is very fortunate.
Yeah.
That is that's a great racetrack.
Yeah.
I mean, we should go there one day. One of the races. That's a good track.
Well, he is the bridge for real motorsport and sim racing as well. So he'll probably
he'll get over it. He'll get over it. He'll get over it easily.
Interesting to hear how he goes in that race. I think it's Formula 5000, but I'm not 100% certain what they race in the lower levels in Japan.
Formula 5000. That thing isn't in Drive to Survive.
Please.
What is that?
No.
Miko trying to shorten that racetrack significantly.
He's trying to test the boundaries.
Might be going for a hot lap here.
I mean, they are legal to run this in qualifying as well, so might as well, right? Might as well.
The all-time one here, Cop.
Yeah, that is definitely a qualifying time, I think.
Esports line.
I promise to keep myself a bit more contained after Hockenheim, but guys, please let's not do that. Let's not do that in qualifying in the race, shall we?
Please do not continue. People want to hear more from you.
Nobody wants to hear me. Let's be real.
No.
I'm just here to annoy everybody. That's what I'm here to do.
You're part of the commentary as well. You give very detailed technical parts of the race. So yeah,
Welcome edition. Hey, you're trying to make me blush here. Don't make me blush on in front of everyone watching. Do you guys know for turn one? Oh, sorry, not turn one. The old turn one cops. Is it flat out in these cars?
no, we have to shift down from
No.
my experience.
So it's down to like down one gear, isn't
Just
it?
one
I mean, that
gear.
sounds. Yeah. So that
I
means that's gonna be a challenge in qualifying, isn't it?
mean,
That's definitely good.
we did mention from beforehand that they can run a bit extended through qualifying. So just
Yeah, but in the race they will have to adhere
yeah,
to the track limits that the stewards have stated.
I
I
guess
think it's in your race briefing as well, race director.
Yeah, race briefing. So I'm gonna have to hop out and see you guys on the other side.
Yeah, will do. We'll join you in a moment. That was the race director, Flying Sand for Artito Racing. Of course, he's got some duties for the race day, of course. But we will hear from him a little bit later during qualifying and the race itself. Got 15 minutes of practice left, which will probably be going over towards the race brief soon. We will hear from Flying Sand what the track limit is going to be, as well as questions from the drivers.
yep. For me, people ought to listen more in the race briefing. All the technical details are there, and questions should arise from it.
Yep. Although, hopefully we should be able to hear clearly what the race director is going to be saying, and the drivers will be able to emulate that understanding as well.
So shall we head on over to the race briefing?
Yeah, I think it'll be good. Drivers will start to flock in a little bit. So we shall jump over into the race brief in a second.
Rightio. Alright guys, you are now live.
Yay!
Oh, TJ just joined.
Give everybody a few more minutes to join and
Again, I would like to repeat, you guys are live.
Don't get us banned. Thank you.
Yep.
we'll try my best. We'll try my best.
Thank you.
Hopefully they
Easier
shall
said
too.
than done. Easier said than done.
Will we see a Ballista voice reveal in this one?
See?
Probably not. Maybe if you guys push him into another peer pressure, he just might.
He should require everybody to say present once he stated their name. That should hopefully force him.
Let's run through it now. So we've got Rohe here, Ravens here, Tom is here, I believe.
Yes,
Is
he
he?
was.
Yes, Tob is here.
Yep.
Is Rai here? Guess not. Okay.
Nope.
TJ is not here. Okay. God's here, Sato's here, G's here, Lake Bun's here.
TJ's got his
Galaxy?
Discord name as Reyna, so
Okay.
The doctor's here.
Rai's here now, that's good. Gutsy's here, Zed's here, Siri is here as well now. Good. Miko's
Yes.
here, Gordon's here, Morbitron's here? Yes,
Yes.
he's here. And Rain is here. Alright, I guess everyone's here, so let's just start. Let me pull up that fancy little thing that you made me. Garlic, you're a genius.
thank.
Round 2, guys. Welcome to Silverstone. Yeah, like I just said, second race of the season. Second round of the season, rather, race 3 and 4. First question is, do any of you have any question from the last race in wherever it was? I can't even remember. Hockenheim. Any questions? There were a lot of incidents that race, namely a certain corner. So,
Yeah,
does
one
anybody
thing.
want to?
Oh,
Yes.
you got one.
Yeah, I wanted to see if admin had made a ruling about cutoff for early joins. I mean, late joins. because like last week we had a guy that kind of just jumped in, signed up, jumped in, crashed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Two regulars.
Yeah, I think we gave him a race ban. But yeah,
Yeah,
I just
race
didn't
ban,
know.
and that's not happening again.
It was. I was really disappointed in him, like, because the more the merrier, right? Is what we always say. Literally, 273. Please try and keep it clean. If you do join and don't go for an overtake, and he goes for an overtake at turn 1 and lap 1. I'm just like, oh my god, you did exactly what I told you not to do. So rest be assured. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to ban late joins from now on. But the only reason we know that he was a late join is because he told us on record. So if no one tells us on record, I guess it's gonna be a bit harder to gauge if it's a last minute join. But then in that case, I don't really know what we can do unless we go on the tracker and see how many laps they may have done. So yeah, I think yeah, that's all I can say about that incident.
No worries, thanks.
No problem. Anything else? Nope. All right. So, yep, 2 14-lap races here at Silverstone today. Track limits. Yeah, we had a big miscommunication between the drivers and the stewards and the stewards panel after the last round. And this race will try and be as explicit as possible. So I'm just gonna read off of the sheet that Garlic very nicely made for me. So in terms of qualifying, 1 second, guys. 1 second. So in terms of qualifying, we're using an inbuilt track limit for a set of Costa. So we'll try and keep this consistent between sessions to reduce confusion. But at the moment, this is the best option we have. So that's what we're going to use. And in terms of the race, the track limits that the panel have decided is the 2 wheels must remain with the white line at all times. The 3 extensions, drivers will receive a penalty, which is most likely 5 seconds. And the penalty that we're looking for in terms of gaining a lasting advantage is 10. Now, to be on the same page, what do you guys think is the definition of gaining a lasting advantage out of this? Do any of you have any thoughts? What do you guys think might be a lasting advantage? So
if you can overtake, but otherwise you wouldn't be able to.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. So very, very good point is, and it's not just an overtake, so to say, it's more if you just run off the track, gain a few car lengths, and next thing you know, you're passing somebody down the straight. That's also technically gaining a lasting advantage, isn't it? Because that run you got off that corner is what allowed you to close in. So that's another definition of gaining a lasting advantage. So not gonna say any names, but I saw on record a lot of drivers run wide at turn 1 and gain a lasting advantage. Sorry, I've not been communicating with you guys in the past week. I had a migraine straight after the race, so I've been pretty down. I was pretty down at that point. So all the penalties and stuff were decided by the people, the rest of the stewards panel, that is. So that obviously didn't help. But thanks to you guys, obviously, in the stewards panel, to still do a good job without me around. Yeah, so rule of thumb being, please keep 2 wheels on the track, and the white line defines the track limits. I think that's pretty straightforward. I think Bob said something about me probably going into a bit too much detail in the last round, but does everybody think this is simplified enough? The two wheels on the white line, all time from the white line defines the track limits. Is that simple enough? Or does anyone still have any questions about this?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to you? Anybody else who's probably got? If
I
no
think-
one replies, I'm gonna take this. If
I
no one
think,
replies to it, I think I'll take that as you have no problem. Yeah, go on.
I think they should ask questions now, since they could specify more elaborately the rules, because somehow from the last race, I think only 2 people heard it. So yeah, we highly encourage
look, I
you to
mean-
ask questions now.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have to talk up. I mean, even if you don't want to do a voice video and stuff, that's fine. But please feel free to send messages on general and ask questions. Like, now that we're racing consistently with 15, 20 people and not 5 or 10 we used to race with, you guys are going to have to communicate more about wheel to wheels. If you have any questions, we don't have any questions, great. But then if you run into incidents, and even the best drivers, even the best drivers last weekend were running into incidents regularly. So, ask questions so that you all are on the same page. And I don't want to see a repeat of Hockenheim turn 1 at Cops today. And I was still a bit lenient because I was thinking about handing out some post-race penalties as late as today once I felt a bit better. But moving forward, starting today, I'm not gonna be nice. Let's put it that way. I'm gonna be even firmer with track limits, especially where you gaining a lasting advantage. So that's all. So if you guys have not any questions, I'm gonna move on to the DRS app. Just a reminder to everyone that the DRS app needs to be installed and visible for the screen of the race. When we said this, when we realized the DRS infringements for round 1, but it can disappear from your HUD when you leave and rejoin the server. Just double check it's active when the briefing's finished. As soon as the briefing's done, you guys can just make sure it's active. And link for the app is in the race announcement in the Formula 3 channel. That's pretty much the brief, guys. Any questions with regards to Silverstone or anything?
Can I make a comment about the DRS app?
Mm-hmm.
When you join the server, one of the first messages that shows up is the ACR and DRS is running. If you don't have this message, you should probably leave the server and double check that the app is activated, or at least triple check that the window is visible on your screen.
Look, I'm not very familiar with the DRS app myself because I haven't played. So you guys heard what Tom said, and Tom understood it. So, there you go. So you guys heard the thing about the DRS app as well. Any other questions?
I'll just make a comment on the track limits quickly, just so everyone's super certain of this. In qualifying, we're using the inbuilt limits for AC. So cops can be extended during qualifying alone, but during the race, we are using the 2 wheels on the track rule. So qualifying, go nuts, so long as what the game allows you to. But in the race, we're going to be reviewing that, and that's alone. And we're going to be using the rules that we described beforehand.
Yes, and again, to repeat, 3 strikes is 5 seconds. Gaining a lasting advantage and passing someone is going to be 10 seconds. And it's not. I'm not going to be easy on anybody. Have this on what you're doing. I'm not going to be easy on everybody. So yes, please adhere to the limits.
I think that's everything.
Yeah, hopefully everybody gets it now.
Yep, thank you, Travis.
Thanks, guys. Look, and at the end of the day, I'm really grateful for you guys to race. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to be harsh on you guys. I'm really grateful that you guys are showing up racing and making this league a good success as it is at the moment. Because especially after MX5 GT4, we were not really putting out that many good numbers. So now to have consistently 15, 20 people, it's just what happened last week is just a byproduct of what happens when you've got 20 drivers racing regularly. So no, thanks for you guys. Thanks for the efforts to show up. And the whole reason of saying this is so that we all can have a great sim racing experience together and as professional as possible. So
Gordon just asked the question. Does the red-white section count as the white line? So the painted white lines on track are what we're using as the dictation. So if you put your all 4 wheels on the off the track and you don't have any on the black stuff, then that's going to be considered as strike.
Okay, so if my 2 inside wheels are on the red-white watchamajigs, then that counts as extending the track.
All 4 wheels. So if you, let's say an example that you're going through cops and you have your right wheels on the curb, that would be considered an infraction. But if you have it on the tarmac, that's fine.
Yeah.
Got it.
Excellent.
Wait. That's T1, right?
Cops is T9.
Cops is the all-time one, so T9.
But anyways, the point here is that the curb is not part of the track because it's outside the white line.
Yes.
So wait, for example, T1, right?
Yep.
That's right-hander.
Yeah, Abby.
Yes.
If your two right wheels are basically over the curb, however, your two left wheel is on the
Tarmac.
on the on the tarmac. That's fine.
Yes.
That's perfectly
Yeah,
fine.
that's
Yep.
Okay.
But once you pass the white lines and all the cars outside of the boundaries of the track, that's considered the
That's a
penalty.
no-no.
Yeah, that's a no-no.
Okay. No problem.
Excellent.
Good stuff. All right, guys. Qualifying's gonna start in like a minute, so go out, have fun, and feel free to join the post-race brief. You don't have to, obviously, not mandatory, but yeah, feel free to join the post-race brief.
Wait, I have a question. I was AFK for a little bit. So
Sorry?
I was AFK for a little bit, so I have a
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
Hold
Mm-hmm.
on. So two wheels on the curb is fine, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. All right, guys. Qualifying starting, so go out, enjoy, and see you guys after the race if you want
Alright,
to stay.
Good
guys.
luck.
Good luck. Have fun. Please keep it keep it fun.
Abuse
Yep.
the limits where you can now, so you don't do it during the race.
That's good.
Radio, going back to the broadcast channel.
I'm scared.
Goodbye. The race brief, and we'll have qualifying start within 20 seconds, roughly.
Perfect.
The advantages of living back home is that your mum brings around good food during race time. It's always very ideal. Not gonna lie. I miss this feeling. For a few months.
Being served by your mom.
Yep.
I'm not gonna lie, it is the best thing to do. It is the best thing to have. No other food is best than what your mom is cooking. That is indeed true.
Absolutely. Where's the stream, by the way? I'm trying to see the stream.
Oh, hold on for a sec.
Yep.
I'm setting it up right now for you guys.
It's
Yep.
got like 8 windows to balance.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're exactly right. I have 8 windows to balance.
Why do people have so many tabs? I can
No,
never figure out.
I have a tab for Google to check the stream itself. I have Streamlabs on, the music's, the game itself, and the apps running in the
Oh, yeah?
background.
Well, enough.
Yeah.
So we're just waiting on the session to finish up. Drivers are finishing their last laps.
Shall we see the start finish straight?
Yeah, let's have a squiz. It's a nice shot. It's like one of those shots where like you have your phone like
Yeah.
towards, you just got like hanging out, waiting for the car to come by.
Yeah, I'll try my best to track them once they get past. It will be a bit difficult considering I'm using low DPI on my mouse.
Like Bun's going reverse in the pits. That's awesome. Yeah, we'll have drivers starting to come through in a second. They're going through Stowe as we speak.
Alright, here we go. That's one driver. Who is it going to be?
It's an orange car.
Dragon.
It's TJ.
Any stop on the side anymore?
Yeah, we got a couple more. That looks like a Yakitori car.
Sato.
Yes, Ardo.
Rohe.
In the Red Bull inspired car. Then there's Toad for Kanekame. There's Ballista, just about caught that. I
Rai.
think that was a Choo-Choo Racing. Oh, that was Rai.
It was right. What do you call his team again? the sister team.
Nova Yakitori.
Nova Yakitori. There's just Nova on the first bits.
Yeah. There we go. Alright, while we're waiting for qualifying to begin, I invite viewers to like, subscribe, comment, do the whole 9 yards. Shut up, Alexa. My Alexa just went off. Shut.
Oh, Alexa, what does she do?
She interrupts me while I'm trying to shill the channel. That's what she does. There you go. Quiet.
Alexa's like, no, you can't promote Artito Racing. You just can't.
How dare you? Bezo forbids it.
Only for Amazon.
Oh
my god, I don't even watch shows on Amazon. I've heard some good stuff, but never tried it yet.
Mm.
Josh
Still waiting for the countdown.
Josh is finding
He is begging for a setup.
Yeah.
I think Raven has hers, but she's not gone well.
You know what I
Yep.
forgot to turn on? I forgot to turn on the auto start, so that's gonna be a bit
Yeah.
that's gonna be a bit risky on the start. Just two
Have
safety
fun.
cars on the background. Here we go,
Yeah.
as the drivers head over to the track for their qualifying.
It's just practice this time. Always something goes wrong.
At least the time is correct this time, I believe, isn't it?
Yes, that's a good start. We solved one issue and we have another now.
I mean, think about it. Qualifying is technically it's called qualifying practice. That's the official name.
Oh my
So,
god.
hey,
It went back to practice for the tower. It was going
unless
so
your
well.
Siri,
Good.
unless your Siri is not messing around with outlap, is he?
No, he
it's
is
He's
not.
going for a quick outlap. He's going for a quick outlap here.
Drivers all warming up their tires. See a bunch of different cars there. We've got, I think the two Yakatoris, we've got Alessio there.
Oh
We
my
have
god.
both Styrias getting in each other's way, unfortunately.
They are already racing.
I'm looking for the first guy to come out.
Yep.
Who was the first one?
I always, I don't know about you guys, but whenever I see an outlap so closely contested with multiple drivers, I always wonder what is their reasoning to be so close to the car ahead, because at some point you're going to have to back off anyway to
Exactly.
create a gap. You might as well just create the gap earlier to keep your temperature in the tires later in the lap, rather than lose your temperature all before starting your hot lap. You know what I mean? I always find it a bit of a strange one, watching that. So,
I think Vohe's going to be our
Yeah.
first one.
Okay,
the Isle Jamaican is going to be the first
here we go. We'll
And
go
off
on
he
board.
goes.
So heading
So-
into turn one now. So Abby here. It's pretty much flat out through here, trying to use as much of the track as possible, avoid the car on the side there, finding the braking zone at about 70 meters or so. The second gear, clicking the apex quite nicely. Shift the car around using all the weight. Get it slowed up nice and cleanly here through the loop. Going towards entry now, you want to clip the curb and use as little steering angle as possible. DRS opens now, and you'll start to climb through the gears. Getting towards about 250 to 60 kilometers per hour. You're in your braking zone at about the 50 mark.
Bit too
Diving
early on
down
the turn in.
toward, a little too early, yeah. Diving down towards Brooklands, and then in towards Luffield here. It's a bit of a double apex turn, so you want to turn the car in nicely, square off the exit for the long straight. Coming through Whitco now. You can just see right here using a little steering angle as possible into fifth gear. You'll head towards Cops now, and will we see the Unreal Jamaican use all the track limits in quotation marks? Seems as though he has.
Fair, that's
Strictly-
fair.
Yep, strictly
Good
speaking, that's
boy.
allowed. So he has kept within the track limits
And
here.
here
Going
we
to
go.
Maggots, then Beckett. And this is a really nice set of corners, honestly.
Yeah.
So satisfying you can get it right. The fourth gear, buzzing the limits here. The
It's
fifth.
very lousy with the Formula 3 cars with a lot more mechanical rear grip.
True,
Once
but
it
it does provide a challenge for the drivers, honestly.
Absolutely.
We're heading towards Stowe now. A bit wide in the apex there, maybe about half a car length, so not an ideal lap, but it's a decent bank to begin with. Going through Vale now, in towards the chicane. He'll clip. No, he'll miss the apex
Made
there
a
as well,
mistake
so not very tight in the last sector there, and getting on towards the curb out of club.
Good exit though. Good exit.
Decent exit, yeah. We'll see the time come up now, and it is a 146.6.
Cool.
So
2
a
tenths
decent
on
time there.
Ballista, but I think Ballista's got quite a bit of confidence.
No, I think
44 is what we're
Ballista's-
looking at, right? 44?
Yeah, 44 is
what
probably
we're-
going to be a pole.
Yep.
Sato making a 145.9. I guess that's flat enough.
45
Yes.
flat, yeah.
So it's a good showing there. I don't believe Ballista is at time yet. That's not quite correct. Alessio with a 44.8. So already
Wow.
showing the strength of the car there. 2 tenths ahead of the Japanese driver. I think we
And-
just caught a superior car like spinning on the last corner. Unfortunately, I didn't quite see who it was, but I didn't think someone had a bit of a spin. But Alessio right behind G here, trying to get a bit of a hurry on the Australian driver. On board with it now.
Nice slipstream down this modern straight.
I can't really answer that question, to be honest.
No, I don't actually quite know. I know the Soteria cars are limited by
Ooh.
their.
Oh!
Alessio.
Oh! A bit spinning
Now,
for
now.
G!
Bit naughty there.
He abandons us
Yeah,
that,
he's
that's
pulled up
lap.
to the side there. He's abandoned the lap. I don't believe G has a time yet. Oh, he has 150.6, but I doubt that's representative.
Let's wait for Miko.
We're yet to see Miko set a time yet, alongside Galaxy, Scoob, Ballista, Zeth, Lakebun, TJ, and Raven. So we have a 19-car pack this race, which is pretty good.
That's pretty much a full house.
Yeah. Miko going through Stowe there, in towards Megas and Beckett's. Cops in towards Megas and Beckett's. I know this track. Through Beckett's now.
Forgive me, I'm just going to change my the PP filter because it's too blurry.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, that's still
Light.
too blurry.
So we have technical difficulties.
There we are.
That's a little nicer, there we go.
Better.
See Miko going through to Vale, now towards the chicane. Will we see a decent time from the Filipino driver? Getting a pretty nice and tidy through there, doesn't seem to be any issues with grip or opposite lock. We'll go through now on towards the straight. The time
fastest.
Fourth fastest.
Not bad.
Not
Pretty
bad.
145.8. So he's the slowest at the 45 times, just beating Rohei on a 46.6. Rohei's currently on a fast lap at the moment. There's Raven, who has yet to set a representative time yet. Raven, as we said beforehand, is struggling a little bit here through Silverstone, but she seems to be getting it fairly nice and tidy through Vegas and Beckett and through Chapel onto the hangar straight now. And hopefully be able to see a pretty decent time from her. Of course, she did quite well for herself last race, and hopefully be able to fly the flag for Kamekame Racing alongside Turbolobe, who's currently 6th fastest, so she might be able to match her teammate. We'll get to see. Going through Vale now towards the chicane. Pretty nice and tidy there. It's very nice livery, of course, done by Kenjake. Oh, a bit squirrely, gone wide there.
Oh, too wide.
Might be an invalidated lap. She might not get a time here.
7th, close to Tobe.
Yeah, so she's alongside her teammate for the meantime.
Certainly lost a bit of time off the last corner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she could probably tip Tobe in terms of position. We have just under 8 minutes of qualifying left. Tobe with a 46.8, Raven with a 46.9. And a high 46.9 and a low 46.8 at that as well. So those two cars quite close between each other. Here with G, who of course got a little bit involved with Alessio on his first flying lap, going out of, I was Lafield, I want to say?
No, he's at, now. Yeah, would go moving over to Corpse now.
Yes, Cops.
Cops.
Give me a nice
how do you pronounce it? Cops or Corpse?
Cops, because there's no R.
Oh. Yeah, it's really difficult for my Filipino English accent.
Yeah, that's fair. CG opening the DRS now. Nice and clean. Seems to be a pretty tidy lap from the Australian driver, honestly. One of the faster privateers. You can just see a car towards the left side.
So far, Sato is the Yakitori driver.
Yeah.
3/10
faster than his teammate, which is interesting to see, really, because those two are still pretty much fighting
down to the
44.9s.
Yeah,
he's getting just under a tenth of pole lap.
We have yet to see, I guess, from Ballista.
CG's time now.
11th fastest.
Okay. That's alright. Probably has more pace in him. It looks as though he's going to go for another flying lap at the moment.
Do I jinx everybody I mentioned who's going in the top 5?
Possibly.
So, guys, you know who it is.
God, no. Please, no. I don't want to be that person.
Blame Kendrick. Seems as Alessio has improved his time. He's now 44.6.
How about the choo-choo?
Oh, indeed he has.
Choo-choo drivers.
Yes, he's improved by about 2 times there.
Good question. Currently, Gordon's in 14th and Zeth is in 17th. Zeth is yet to fit a representative time. He's 3 minutes 34 logged.
So, only 30 seconds left until 5 minutes. Drivers have to wrap up their qualifying times now.
Yep. There's a few drivers at the back. You can see Lake Bun, Zed. Those guys have not set competitive lap times yet, so they're running out of time to do so as well.
Yeah. Scoop hasn't set a time itself either. And
Yep.
both Systeria cars don't seem to be as fast as expected. Late planners instead of time, and Josh is currently sitting in 15th. 149.8.
Oh, see a bit of oversteering there.
Yeah,
mid
that
corner.
was slidey.
No, it was. Bit of a lock up
From
there.
G.
Mhm.
Hopefully, be able to get a decent time and go through club corner now. Will we see an improvement from the Australian driver?
2.5 seconds off the
Line.
pace.
145
and
seconds.
Fifth, there we go. Top 5. There it is.
Challenging.
Just a hundredth of a second slower than Raj as well. There we
And
go.
there's the pace that we were expecting from the Australian privateer.
There it is.
Putting himself 5th fastest, only a 100th slower than Vaj, which is very good time for the Australian driver, and keeping Miko by about 2 cents or so.
Zet is not having a good time with traffic.
No, he is not enjoying
Zeta.
himself currently.
Zeth always gets unlucky with
Yeah.
them.
On board now with him. Heading down towards Brooklands now. He's getting a little bit held up here by TJ. He seems to be having some connection
Yeah,
issues.
he's teleporting all over the place.
Keep an eye on his ping. It seems to be okay.
Should be a one-time thing.
Sato, sorry, not Sato, Scooby has popped up in the top 3 now as well.
Yeah,
6
top
cents off
3.
the place.
There we
So
go.
leading the way there
Melissa,
for Mr. Rebel Racing.
can we go on with Ballista and see what's happening here? This is very, very strange to see him so far off the pace. And here we go, we can now see Ballista starting a hot lap. He's going to get 2 cracks at this to try and get up near the front. And he's got Scooby as a great reference in front of him. So let's just see what the Yakitori driver can do now. Heading into loop and down the entry corner onto the Wellington straight. He may pick up a bit of slipstream here.
I think it's too
high
far
time.
away.
Yep. As we now head into Brooklands. 3rd gear, about 130 on the apex. And let's see what sort of line. He really tries to take a tight line here, doesn't he? The Japanese driver.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Yeah.
2nd gear as well.
In comparison to like the likes of Vohei group as well, they'll often go deeper into that corner and take a double apex. But Ballista seems nice to keep it nice and tight, which is interesting.
Yeah. As he Scooby
getting
gets out of the way there.
Very
And Ballista keeping it within track limits as well.
Well, fair
But
play for them.
240.
They're already implementing the track limits that we imposed.
Indeed. Even if they don't have to do it during qualifying, it seems like they are. So good on
Yeah,
them.
that's
And
really good for
Ballista.
drivers. Very good.
And speaking of very good, that seems to be a very good line to Banks Beckett. Now heading down into the hangar straight. He's got 2 braking zones to endure to try and get up on near the front row as he clips the apex on Stowe pretty well and uses the track to its maximum width as he comes into the club corner. The Japanese driver will have most likely just one more lap after this, but this lap so far has seemed pretty good as he heads towards the start-finish straight.
Third
And
fastest.
Ballista,
Fastest.
half a second and behind his teammate.
Still not breaking the 144.
No, honestly, Sato is currently heading towards Cops at the moment, so might see an improvement from him.
And I
Yeah,
think
might be
that's
Abandoning a lap,
maybe...
yeah.
No, yeah, that's it. That's the
Yeah,
best
he won't
he's
have enough
gonna
time to be able to get to the
That's
Start line.
at best. So let's see what Sata's doing now, shall we? Is
we
he
got
gonna
another
be
time.
able to challenge the remaining Yakitori driver? Is he gonna be able to challenge Alessio Suri or try and improve on his time and get closer than what he is now?
Alright,
Just
be
a
right
4
back,
tenths
boys.
second margin.
noise. So we stuck with Sato for the meantime while Kendrake's gone to do something quickly. You see him going through Stone now.
Seems like he missed the apex there a bit, or he may like a bit of a wider line. See as he heads
Possibly.
into top quarter again.
Might be able to get on the power earlier.
And then he rounds off the final corner towards the
Well,
start finish
we'll be
line.
Will we see an improvement from the Japanese driver? Will he be able to challenge the Italian, or will he get his first pole? No, nothing on
No.
board. Might be going
Wow.
for. He has time for another flying lap, so he might be going for one now. But yeah, that
I'm
looks as
running
though
up
that
for
was
these
an
guys.
opening lap. Tobe goes 8th fastest.
Oh, you can just see the back end complaining with his right foot.
Japanese driver really pushing that Formula 3 cars. Go the entry now into the Wellington Straight, DRS open. Don't think he has gained anything in the first sector yet, but I'm not entirely certain of that. Coming into Brooklands now. Seems tidy for the most part. He doesn't quite get the apex that he wants. He could probably give it another half a car length into the apex. Keeping a nice tight line.
Sato also likes to keep it a nice tight line through there, doesn't he? The
Yeah.
Scooby has now gone to second with a 44.7.
Whoa,
Wow.
where did that came from?
Yeah. And that's further bad news for Ballista.
Might be...
Sato as well, keeping it within track limits. That's good to see. As we now go to Maggots, Beckets, and Chapel.
Oh,
The Yakitori driver, you can just see how hard he's pushing.
Oh, he's gone.
he's on the grass.
there.
It's again, he's on the grass. He was on the grass.
He knows that this is the lap. He knows this is the lap of the weekend. He is pushing that car. Yakitori
really
driver. You can just see the
Maybe a
bumps on
little
the
too
front.
much. He's gone very, very wide and he's spun.
Oh, he lost it. He lost it.
Yeah, and the Japanese driver pushing
There
the
we
car
go.
to the limit and just a little too far. So Alessio Siri will get pole position in his first outing here.
Is this one of the rarest off days of the Yakitori race cars?
Yeah,
It's
not
possible, really.
I wouldn't have ever bet the Yakitori being first race of the round. Here we are. No Yakitori drivers on the
Zed improves his time, goes 17th fastest.
Not bad.
Right.
So he'll join his teammate there on row 8, I think.
The battle for the strategic pole position for race 2, boys.
Yeah.
But as qualifying pretty much concludes there, go through the running order. In P1 is Alessio Siri at 44.4, very fast time for him. P2 is Scoob leading the way for Mr. Gang Red Bull Racing. P3 and 4 is the two Yakitori cars, the Sato and Ballista. Sato crucially getting in front of his teammate. P5 is Raj, which is a good showing from him, considering it's his first fully sanctioned race. P6 is G, which is a good improvement from him from the previous race. P7 is Miko, which may be a little lackluster, considering he was fighting for the win in the early stages of race 1 at Hockenheim. P8 is Rohei. P9 is Tobe. P10 is Gusty. P11 is Raven with Swords, which I think she was probably expecting that sort of position. P12 is Morbitron, the second of the two Babin cars. P13 is Lakebun, leading the way for Soteria Racing. P14 is TJ Dragon in his first race in the season. P15 is Rai in the sister car for the Nova Yakitori team. P16 and 17, both sharing row 8, is Choo Choo Racing of Gordon and Zeth respectively. P18 is Joss Mitchell, which is probably not as good a showing as he wanted. And P19 is Galaxy, who haven't mentioned much, but he's a reserve driver for the privateer team, so he'll be racing maybe for a couple races this season, but this will be his first race here at Silverstone, and he'll take the back of the pack on a 1 minute 50.8.
Somebody's still running for the overtime. Who is it?
Yeah.
Oh, did they pull over to the side?
Might be Rohei still protesting about the last race.
Nope, all drivers are in the pits at the moment.
Okay, so it should be over by now.
Oh, Roshan's in the server.
Yeah, I think is he the one live what do you call it? Live marshalling?
I believe
Oh,
so,
is
yeah.
he? Oh, okay. That's great. We found the marshal.
So that we conclude the qualifying times.
Yeah,
Oh.
I don't quite know why it's taking its time.
Yeah, quite interesting though with the Yakitori cars as well, and good outing from
Yeah,
Scoob.
Yeah, the Yakitori drivers, none of their cars seem to really be hooked onto the circuit. Like, it seemed like even Ballista, for how smooth his lap was, he was trying to have, he was having to fight to get that lap time. So
Exactly. You
yeah,
can see how much he's pushing the car.
Sato's always been a very aggressive driver. You can just see that. Yeah, it was strange to see Ballista having somewhat of a smooth lap, and whenever Ballista does a smooth lap, it's generally a fast lap, and to still be half a second off the pace. Yeah, wow.
It's
Yep.
fairly surprising.
Yeah, interesting scenes from the different teams, the different dynamics playing out in the rivalries. But we have about 20 seconds before the drivers will take to the grid, and we will see first race from a couple of the drivers, but also first race of round 2 here at Silverstone.
No
Go ahead,
Panterino
reminding
as
everyone.
says.
Terina.
We may see that through turn 3.
Oh my god,
What's up?
please no.
Please keep my job easy today. please. And maybe the reason I came down with a migraine was the reason of all the Hockenheim Grand Prix. I think that may be the reason I came down with a migraine.
I mean, it's entirely possible. See all the cars now on the circuit, just waiting for the lights to come up.
Oh, they're already revving it. They can't contain the excitement anymore.
Yep, all very excited for round 2 here at Silverstone.
There's the medical car at the back. That will be you.
Yep.
You should be in the middle, mate.
Unfortunately, the set of courses does not have that capability.
Right, off you go then.
The lights come up now. The engine is starting to rev here as we begin for round 2 here at Silverstone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red lights. Race 1 here at Britain. And it's lights out and away we go. And it seems a pretty good start there from Scoob in comparison to the Italian. He'll take the lead coming into turn 1 now.
I think it may have been a jump start.
Yeah, I think it may have been, so yeah.
Oh, unfortunate then from the Indonesian driver. We yet to see whether he'll take a drive-through or not. But he's really battling there in comparison to all the drivers trying to find their own piece of time. Again, it seems that it was pretty clean for the first time around. Going through entry now, all the drivers trying to find their position.
Masate, let's go to Onmo Masate. Let's go Onmo Masate. I think he might be challenging Siri. Here we go. Or has he got Siri?
No, he hasn't.
He's looking left and right at the moment, really trying to battle against the Indonesian driver, but nothing coming for it. Sasha's going to try and look towards gaining on the series compromise line here. Coming through left field now for the first time. Sato extending a little bit there, so it's going to be strike 1 for him and getting a little squirrely on the power. You can see he's trying to eat as much of that slipstream as possible. Chi, Raj, and Rohe actually, who's jumped Miko at the start there. Alessio going wide there. Yep. Alessio going wide there at Cops, so strike 1 here for the Italian. But you can see the 2 Japanese drivers really hounding that Italian, and now they're getting each other's way. Ballista not wanting to stay behind Sada for very long, but he's suffered through Beckett's now, and coming through Chapel as a result.
G is right there as well. With Raj
G's right there. I think there was someone just went off there.
Yeah, someone just spun. I just saw it as well.
Vohei and Miko got involved in each other. And Vohei comes tumbling down the order, all the way down the last place, not quite last place. Gordon and Josh Mitchell, you'll have company between those 2 drivers, but that's not the start the Jamaican wanted. So they'll promote some of the drivers up. And as Scoob, I think, is spun as well.
No, Scoob is in first place. He's in the pits, is he?
No, he's in the pits.
So Scoob has had to go into the pits, so he's having to serve the drive penalty.
Don't get that. I don't get why Scooby was served the penalty on lap 1. You rather want to make as big a gap as you can with the rest of the pack the first 3 laps, and then serve your drive-through. So, yeah, that's strange as to why he decided to serve it straight away.
Well, we come back out now towards
somebody spawned again. Raj, one of the privateer teams.
And that's not a good start there from the Indian driver. He's spun around by it looks as though in Village, I want to say, and he's struggling to get that car back on track. Not having the traction.
Raven in the fight!
Maven Remalf battling alongside her teammate. Kamekame drivers seem to be doing very well themselves. Good start from both of them. Raven started in P11, now into P5. An absolute masterclass of driving here from the American. She'll go round the outside on her Norwegian teammate. Up into P5 now.
Let's see. The 2 Brabham cars right behind, so a bit of a teammate sandwich here.
Yeah, and it seems as though there's going to be a bit of a battle here. On board now with Gutsy, and he's going to try and see if he can capitalize alongside the... Bit wide there. Doesn't seem he gained any advantage there, but it probably will be looked at from the stewards. Back to the action here. Doesn't seem to be gaining any sort of advantage or time alongside the Kame car drivers. He seems to be battling with that Bab, going a little bit wide and getting quite squirrely. Morbachon is in a position to capitalize here. He will have DRS now. But it seems that Gusty will also have DRS alongside her. Raven won't, unfortunately. She's too far behind G.
TJ may have had a bit of a whoopsie as well.
And it seems as though Galaxy comes tumbling out the water. He's down to P16. But meanwhile, Lakebun, Zeth, and Obai, 3 different teams, 3 different drivers, 3 different nationalities, all battling out of here for 10th position. As Alessio set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix from 146.2, so it's a good showing from him, but he hasn't quite shaken off the 2 Yakitori car drivers yet. You can see just on the left-hand side of your screen there, Sato 8 tenths behind the Italian, and then Ballista
Scooby now is harassing him at the rear.
Oh, he is too. You can just see in the mirrors in the background there.
That is exactly what I said is if Scooby could have used this pace for another 2 laps and served it at the end of lap 3, he would have been ahead
Made
of
the
this
move!
mess.
He's already made the move. Late
Leg
one.
fun. Leg fun.
Maybe making a bit of a mistake, or either just
No,
realizing that it's
letting
not
him
his battle
go.
to fight.
Yep.
But Scoob will go all the way alongside the Yakatoy car.
Whoa!
The rest of the gear. And the Indonesian driver is seeing red already. He doesn't want to be suffering as a result of that pit lane drive-through at the start for his jump start. He'll fight alongside the Japanese driver. The Japanese driver locks up Brooklyn, so they're not quite beneficial here. Scoob will get into P11. Next up is Zeth. You can see up the road there. A little bit of a gap forming, but we know Scoob has the capacity to be able to draw that car in.
Very good. Very good for Scoob. But yeah, while Zeth ahead of him, do you guys think Scooby might be able to find his way near the podium? With that pace?
There we are.
Likely.
Oh, that's good from Lake One, so he's let off the pace here, so he might actually be alright with that strike there. He's given up that time that he could have possibly gained. So good sportsmanship there from the Indonesian driver.
Sato is holding Siri a bit honest here with the DRS. And he's doing his teammate a favor as well by dragging him along in this.
Make him move with Morbitron.
Miko, wow.
So Miko being able to get back up into the points, and you can just see Raven and Tobe there, the Kamekame cars for P5 and 6. Whoa, Morbitron!
Oh, Morbitron.
Big dive.
Jesus Christ.
Just in time.
Mini heart attack there.
That could have been really bad.
That could have been bad, and Morbitron could have gotten in a lot of trouble there, but thankfully just collided with the Filipino driver. Now onto lap 4, and the battle for 5 here. Starting to spread out a little bit as the DRS change, the dirty air start to take into effect. It seems like there's a bit of a battle here between the two Yakitori cars, between Sato and Ballista. Ballista hounding his teammate at the moment. He really doesn't want to be sitting behind Sato at the moment. I wonder if he thinks that he's going to be having the pace in comparison to his teammate. Alessio is starting to pull a little bit of a gap, but not a lot. It's only 1.1 seconds, now 1.3. But we will see how the two Yakitori drivers are going to start to play out their positional difference as we go through the race, as well as strategy is yet to be considered as well. Both drivers on the hard. Actually, I think the entire field is on the hard tires. Yes, it is. So every driver on the hard tires. But you can see the.
Do you guys think we'll see pit stop this race?
Oh yeah, they have to make it to the end for fuel.
Yeah. So they can't make it to the end of fuel.
Yeah, they can't.
Oh, okay.
Goodness me, Raven with gaining 6 positions ever since the start of the race. Wow, good outing from her.
Right now, the Yakitori drivers have to do something. Surely, we know Sato's not going to let it pass, but they're costing themselves quite a bit with this battle.
Yeah.
But having said that,
as soon as Ballista's let off a little bit, he's selected just to sit behind his teammate compatriot for the meantime. Alessio will come across the line now. Will he set another fastest lap? Yes, he will. 1:45.7. Yep. So
the
fast.
Yakitori drivers are going with them though, so you can the gap's not opening up by much. So even the series having fastest lap, you can see the Yakitori drivers are probably just a tenth or two off the pace each lap, but over a race that adds up very quick.
Yeah, the two Japanese drivers aren't quite out of it yet. You can see Miko going for the
Australian.
A good send into Village Corner. It's a very textbook move there from the Filipino driver. He'll take P7 by the looks of it, but I don't think Gus is going to take that line down. He's going to keep his nose in it to go through the loop now towards Antry now. Will he have the DRS? I don't think he will. Both drivers just about keeping it clean between each other. Both drivers will have DRS actually. So will Gusty be able to use the slipstream? He will try to look towards the inside now, heading in towards Brooklyn's now. Oh, it's very close. But the Australian will force the Filipino out, and Ballista, meanwhile, has already made the move on Sato, his teammate. So while that battle for P7 was happening, it seems that the battle for
P2 must have lost a lot of time there. He's 2.5 seconds behind.
Yeah, so they will no longer have the DRS, so both drivers now fighting for glory by the looks of it. G and P4, so it's a very good showing from the Australian driver. Actually, he's been able to make a bit of a gap on the rest of the drivers, namely Raven and Tobe. But racing starts to boil down a little bit now as drivers decide to find their rhythms. I was to say that though, Morbitron and Scoob are in a bit of a tussle. I think Scoob made the move of Morbitron, weren't quite able to catch it unfortunately, but I think he made it through cops. So the Indonesian really is trying to push as much as possible here. They only made a gap for a second, wow. See Miko now trying to make some sort of move here against Gusty and move towards, I think middle of it through Stoke, but Gusty gets scared a little bit. and he's left a car with now through the apex. That's going to compromise his run a little bit. And will that make him vulnerable as we go into a chicane now? Alessios is fast up at 145.5. The Italian really flexing his pace here at the moment. But you can just see in front of the Ramen car is the Yakitori car, the Kamekame cars of Tobe and Raven. So if these two drivers can deal with each other, or if Miko is able to make a concise move against the Australian, he might be able to start chasing the two Kamekame drivers.
Ooh. Quite late downshifting from Miko.
Yeah, trying to use as much of the track and pace as possible within that car. They're getting a little bit too fast. He's starting to lose gap a little to the Australian driver. He will have DRS, obviously. But you can just see in the mirrors there, Scoob is hunting down the Filipino driver, really making positions here from the Indonesian. And now this battle for 7 has now become a three-way gamble. You can see the Indonesian driver really fighting that car, trying to eke out every last millisecond possible within the mystery gang Red Bull racing machine. And you'll be able to get the traction here coming out of, I think I'm calling it name, but towards Woodco now. And doesn't quite have the slipstream, unfortunately. He is on the medium tyres? Yep, only driving on the medium tyres, so that could explain his pace differential here. Oh, marginal through that. I think he just about kept it on the track, but not 100% certain of that one. But you can see he's starting to draw in the Filipino driver. And it's pretty much almost a given consensus they're going to be able to make this move here. Going through Chapel now is a great exit from
Good
the...
exit, great exit.
You have the DOS, he'll go towards the left-hand side, going through the hangar straight now. We'll be able to make the move on the Filipino before we get towards Stowe. Doesn't quite look like it, so they go side-by-side. Slip breakers. And it seems that Mika's been able to keep the Indonesian at bay for the most part, at least for now anyway. But he can see... Oh, he's gone to the pits now. So, electric pit stop, and I think that's actually a good move from Scoop. He's going to take the pit stop now to not get held up by the traffic from Nico and hopefully make some sort of undercut.
Here's the thing about Silverstone. It's quite unique, the pit lane for Silverstone. It's fairly long, it starts fairly early, so they have to make it strategic on this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very long.
All the way, I think it's the front box. Second front box there. So we'll see Scoop go tumbling down the auto as he makes his first pit stop. Meanwhile, on board now with
Miko,
there we go. So Miko still harassing the Australian driver, not quite able to gain either way. Gusty not quite able to shake off the Filipino driver, Miko not quite able to overtake Gusty. So it seems to be London for the most part, unless either driver makes some sort of mistake here and they get out of the slipstream. But it seems as though that Gusty's been able to draw closer towards the Kamekame cars. You might not be able to see it here, but hopefully Kamekame will provide it. But he's been able to draw quite close towards Turbolo. There you can just see it. They're just in front of them now, and so the battle for 5th, or at least the battle for 6th anyway, may start to heat up a little bit now. Oh, Tobe goes wide.
Oof.
So, little naughty from him. And I think he's let off the gas as a result of that, because he's lost a lot of time there comparatively, so might not get a strike there. But you can see now the battle for 6 has now become a 3-way battle between all the different teams now, actually. Kawakami, Brabham and the privateer team of Miko, of course he's the individual driver. Miko right up along the diffuser.
Here we go! Here we go!
But it was send! What a send there through Stowe! Will he be able to make the move stick? Yes, he does. Wow, great driving there from Miko, from the Filipino driver.
He'll make his way into the pits.
Immediately disposed of the position, so he doesn't have to show really. But that'll leave Gusty free to be able to challenge the P6 against the Norwegian driver. As see all the lead drivers seem to be making their pit stop for this race. Sato and Civi elect not to take a pit stop yet, so it'll be interesting to see how that will play out.
It's a double stack for Kamekame Racing.
Yeah, it is. Of course, the drivers both having their unique pit boxes, so I won't play into the end results too much. But it is interesting to note. So that will put Gusty and Tobe into 3rd and 4th. Of course, they haven't stopped yet, so that won't be a net 3rd or 4th. But Scoop seems to be gaining alongside the other drivers if they make their first pit stops. Not entirely certain how much he's gained. We'll have to see. We can see G making some sort of move here against the Japanese driver, the Nova Yakitori car of Rai. Doesn't seem to be able to quite capitalize on the slipstream. I think
Both
Rai
of
has
them
DRS. Yeah, both of them locked, so they're getting towards the end of their tyres' lifespan, so we'll probably expect to see those two drivers making some sort of pit stop in the foreseeable lap, if not this lap. But G, right behind the Japanese driver, going through Woodcone now, on to the National Pit Straight. He's gaining as he goes towards Cops now. And he's right behind the Japanese driver. Both drivers go wide there. So a little naughty from both of them. They might get a strike there, but no advantage again between them. So strictly speaking, it's all kosher between the two of them. Going through Mackes now and into Beckett. G is right behind the Japanese driver, and Rai goes wide there through Chapel Corner. Unfortunately, and will G be able to capitalize on this as a result? He will have the DRS. I don't think Rai has it. No, Rai doesn't have DRS, so we go down towards the hangar side. G likes to go right-hand side towards Stowe. Now he'll just about complete the move. He'll force Rai very wide to be able to disrupt the Japanese driver. Will they go to the pits now? Doesn't look like it, no. Both drivers like to stay out. I don't think they have completed the pit stops yet, but I'm 100% certain on that. Meanwhile, it seemed as though Sato has made his first stop, as has Siri, I think?
I think Siri has,
yeah, so Siri's come out in P2 at the moment. Tope hasn't made his stop yet, so he's just right behind the Norwegian driver. The question is, will he be sitting behind him or making some sort of move here down the Wellington Straight here, coming toward Luffield? Doesn't seem to be he's going to be in a position to capitalize on the pace performance or the DRS or the slipstream or the rear tire or the fresh rubber. But going through Luffield now, coming on towards Woodcote. Onto the national pit straight. He is right behind the Norwegian driver. He is gaining his 4 tenths between the two drivers, now 3 tenths, so he is definitely gaining on the Norwegian. Will he make some sort of move here? Go through Cops, doesn't seem to make any move from the Italian driver, but he's still right behind him. We go through Maggotts and Beckett's now. Long shot view here provided, and you can see the two cars right behind each other, and seems as though Tobe got a little squirrely through there. Onward now with Alessio Siri. He will have the DRS here down the hangar straight, and it seems to be a inevitability here. Pulled right to the hand side and going down the hangar straight towards Stowe here, and he'll make the move very nicely coming into P1 as we head towards lap 10 pretty soon. I think Tobe will probably go to the pits now. Yes, he does. So Tobe will make his scheduled pit stop for the race. Be interesting to see where that puts him. But I think Ballista has beat his teammate Sato in the strategic battle.
I think there's something going on. Going forward, I think. Whoa! Something brewing up. Miko gets the jump on it. Scooby goes.
Scooby goes round again. Oh no, not what you want to see from the Indonesian driver. Hopefully be able to get back up.
Was there contact?
I don't think there was. I think that was all clean. It was just a little bit of a squirrely moment there. Meanwhile, Raven's having to fight against both Gusty and Miko. I think Tobe is in the pit. He might be coming out now.
Alongside her teammate.
Both combo drivers are going to be having to sort out themselves. Seems as though Ravens would like to take 5th, while Tobe remains in 6th place now, but he's going to have to be dealing with a Filipino and Australian driver. All of these drivers now will have DRS, both Tobe, Miko, and Gutsy. Will any of them be able to make some sort of move here? Going through entry now towards the Wellington Straight now. Will any of the drivers be able to get some sort of gain or position? Doesn't seem as though, so it's all lines over for the most part. It seems as though Raven went a bit wide there, so I wonder if Tobe might be able to capitalize on that.
So we go on board, it's a better view for everybody.
Yeah, so we go on board now at Gutsy, and Gutsy's getting a pretty good view of this battle between the 4 drivers for P5. And not quite in striking distance, but it seems that Mika's very close in comparison to Turbolo. We'll be able to make some moves, so it's a little bit wide there. And you don't quite know if he's let off the gas there. He might have. He seems to have not gained any position here. It seems that Morbitron has been pinged for illegal DRS usage, so that'll be investigated after the race. But meanwhile, Gutsy trying to gain on the Filipino driver here as we are approaching lap 11 pretty soon. Lap 11 now, there we go.
That's someone that ended up ahead of Ballista.
I think there was an overtake.
Yeah.
I didn't quite see it, yeah, but Sato's gained upon his teammate.
Wow.
Don't quite know when that happened, unfortunately. But the battle for P2 now, still shaping up. Excuse me.
Siri has developed quite a lead. As I say that, Miko tries to move in the inside of turn 1.
Wow.
Miko trying to make some sort of move here against the Kame driver. Go around the outside into Village. Will he be able to make a stick? Not quite. But Tope will have the compromised line. Miko a little unsure as to how he wanted to make that move. Looks as though he pulled out of a dive on the last second. Going through entry now for the 11th time. Onto the Wellington straight now. DRS open for both drivers, so it doesn't seem as though Miko will be able to gain any sort of advantage. Well, he does have the slipstream though, getting a little bit there, maybe about like half a tenth or so, but not anything that he's going to be able to use for a overtake. Going through the left field now. You can just see Raven starting to pull a gap along to her teammate. And so Tope will have to battle for this P6 now for the remaining laps. And Miko really has all to gain and not much to lose. We'll have Gussie behind him. You can see Gussie just in the mirrors there, but Gussie's going to have to be contending with Scoop, who seems to have been able to gain back his time that he lost from the spin beforehand, and might be able to go onto Scoop's POV now if possible. There we go. You can see Scoob is already gaining on the Australian driver. Gussie getting all types of wrong there through Chapel Corner. He's playing out to go defensive here. Scoob has the momentum. Let's see at the fast lap for Grand Prix 145.571. Scoob will make the move here, coming down the hangar straight towards Stowe. Will he be able to complete the move? Yes, he will. Up into P8 now from the Indonesian driver. So it's a pretty good recovery drive from him. And he does have the possibility of be gaining more positions, but he does not have time on his side though. Lap 12 now of race 1. And the Indonesian driver is going to have to get some sort of a hurry up here. You can see Gutsi trying to make some sort of move here on the Norwegian driver, Otobalob. Doesn't seem to be anything coming
get
up
to about maybe P5 with the pace he's showing. If he gets, can get these overtakes done.
Did I just saw somebody spin? It was Galaxy.
That's Galaxy.
Okay, I think he was just trying to get out of the way for the drivers.
Yeah, so Galaxy trying to get out of the way for the most part. Gutsy starting to fall off a little bit in terms of pace. You can see the 3 battle for P6 now starting to develop. Turbolob is going to be fighting for his life here. He's fighting Miko, Scoob, and to an extent Gutsy. But he is starting to claw back his way on his teammates. So I think Raven might have made some sort of mistake. He'll have DRS now then, which will benefit the Norwegian driver in his attempt to defend against the Filipino driver. You can see Miko gaining just a little bit there through Widco on towards the National Pit straight. He's gaining quite considerably actually, coming towards Cops now for the 12th time in this race. Not quite anything of it though. He has to let off the gas to make sure he doesn't accrue a penalty. I think he's probably on strike 2 by the looks of it, so he's not going to be getting any penalty anytime soon because he's going to be losing time to Scoob. You can see Scoob is right behind the Filipino driver. He might be looking to make some sort of move here, going through Chapel now on towards the hangar straight. Will the Indonesian driver try to make some sort of move down the Filipinos? Unless it's the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, 145.3. So unless he's really showing his pace here towards the dying lap.
He's just setting fastest lap for fun at this point, isn't he? Have fun.
Yeah, pretty much. He's getting a little bit bored all by himself. You can see.
We thought Bahrain was a dominant display from him, but this has been.
Yeah, this was something else.
This has been another level of domination.
Probably unknown territory for Ballista as well.
Yeah. I mean, well,
Ballista should know this track quite well, so that's what makes it even more impressive.
Yes.
Ballista's done this track before with other cars. So, as we say, that's Scoopy.
Into the loop, a little bit of a dive there from the Indonesian driver. Very well done move.
Well done.
Very surprising.
Yeah. And leaves space on the exit as well.
Still side by side on the main straight.
Will the Indonesian driver be able to make the move now in towards Brooklyn? He's going to be able to make it
nice
and
should
cleanly.
have the corner now, yeah, there he goes.
Yep. Very good move there from Scooby, up to B7 now. And next up, he might have Tobe in his sights. It's only a second difference between the two drivers, but he is running out of time as Alessio is about to start the final lap of the race relatively soon. And so you will only have one more lap in effect, well, 1.5 laps in effect, to be able to make this move against the Norwegian driver for P6. But it seems like Raven's lost a bit of time there and looks a little susceptible to some sort of move from her teammate. I wonder if Tobe is going to be just sticking behind considering the Constructors' Championship, or if he's going to try and challenge Raven for the 5th position for race 1.
Could also be...
Since 45 dead, it's just like qualifying laps at this rate.
Could also be team orders just to give Tobelov the DRS window.
Also, we're going to go to the final lap now from Alessio's theory. He'll be quite happy with himself with this performance, but you can see Scoob is going to be running out of time quite considerably. The gap now down to 7/10. between him and the Norwegian driver Artito for Kamekame Racing. Both Kamekame drivers very close within each other, so I wonder
Somebody
if
stop!
GRS...
Somebody stop! On, I don't know which corner it is. It's Gordon. It was Gordon.
Oh, Gordon's not gotten quite right there. He either stopped or spun or some description. He's now down to
the Gordon
P15.
train this race.
No, we didn't, unfortunately. Might see it next race, honestly.
Possibly.
But on board now...
Sorry, I have to cut it back. He's still not, Once Siri starts on the Sector 3, I'll move over to him.
Yeah, fair enough. But on board now, following Scoop PSI, Scoop 4/10 the difference now between him and the Norwegian driver Artito. Tobe's gonna have to be fighting for his life here if he wants to keep that P6 position, and Scoop probably gonna be thinking that he deserves that position after the jump start that he had from the.
He still made a very good comeback to be where he is.
Very much.
Not just the jump start, but then also the half spin he had going into just short of the final corner. It's been another good comeback drive, but man of the hour, Alessio Siri.
Yeah. Dominant outing from Alessio Siri.
And like I said, we thought Bahrain was a next level of domination. This has been another dominant display around the final corner. Alessio Siri wins race 3 of this Artito Formula 3 Racing League. Wow, that's for making a statement.
Is this a glimpse of the torch passing?
Scoop making a move, Scoop's
going for a move.
Scoop going for a move around the outside of Stowe at the dying laps of the race. He's going to try and make some sort of move here against Tobe. He's really right behind the
one last move for him.
He's just about checked it up, and it's alongside, side by side now for P6.
Keep it on the outside.
He's made the move around the outside. 1 quarter to go now through club. Will he be able to keep it stick? Tobe right on the inside, and it's to the dying lap.
He did. I think he did.
Keep it.
Who got it?
Tobe will keep it just about by 5/100ths of a second.
That was a drag race if I ever saw one.
Oh, I thought Scooby would have the run off power corner with the traction, but wow. Pobolo himself kept it in.
I believe he did take it because I saw the number flash go 6 before it flashes.
Yeah, he was ahead of him for a wee bit, but he wasn't quite able to make the move stick.
Oh. That was a good drag race till the end.
It was a good race in general, but now the fun begins.
Yes.
Yes.
So who has the strategic pole position for this race?
Let's have a look. I don't think we've quite got finished yet, but I believe it is TJ Dragon.
It's the whole reverse grid, right? Not only the top 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, complete reverse grid.
So yeah, where shall we place our camera? VIP booth.
The box seat position.
No, I think let's put it naturally where it's supposed to be.
Fair enough. But race order: P1 Siri, P2 Sato, then Ballista, G, Raven, Tobe, Scoob, Miko, who's just disconnected, Gutsy, Rohei, Rai, Lakebarn, Raj, Morbitron, Zeth, Gordon, Galaxy, Josh Mitchell, and TJ Dragon, P19.
Wow. Oh, that was something else, isn't it?
Yeah, that was really good racing, and we're going to see it all again for race 2 here at Silverstone, race 4 of the championship. Just waiting for the drivers to get on the grid, deliberating how the race went. Hope to be able to see Miko rejoin in a second. He's had some sort of disconnect there, I don't quite know what happened. Just waiting for the countdown now as the drivers will be going onto the grid very soon. While we are waiting for the drivers to get onto the grid, and I invite viewers to like the stream, subscribe, comment, all the whole 9 yards. It does help the races, the full race replays get pushed up in the algorithm, more people can view it, and hopefully join the server as Miko rejoins the server itself. So thankfully we'll be seeing him for race 2. But as we go towards the grid for race 2 here at Silverstone, race 4 of the championship, Morbitron's in P1. P2 is Raj, P3 is Lakebot, followed by Rai, Rohei, Gutsy, leading out the rounding out the Brabham drivers. P7 is Miko, P8 is Scoop, P9 is Tobe, P10 is Raven with Swords, followed by G, Ballista, Sato, Alessio Siri, then Zeth, Gordon, Galaxy, Josh Mitchell and TJ Dragon will round off the grid. So I believe it's only considering the finishing drivers. Both Choo-Choo Racing drivers are confused, and I think they're realizing that they didn't finish. That's the reason why. The light's coming on now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red lights here for race 2 at Silverstone. And it's lights out and away we go, and it seems like it's a good start from Morbitron in comparison to Raj. He'll get the jump on the Indonesian driver now, going through turn 1 for the first time. All the drivers, that's a great shot from all the drivers there. Looks as though there was a Yakachoi car that went wide. Couldn't quite see who it was. Now to turn 3 now for the first time. All the drivers trying to make some sort of move here. Will they keep it clean? Hopefully they will. You can see the two Kanekame drivers now battling out position now from P9 to P10. Going through the loop now for the first time. Raven going around the outside of her teammate, trying to make some sort of move with Miko. It doesn't quite work out here, but she will have the slipstream between Gutsy and Miko. Vohey now to P3. Lakebun down, dropping down the order undercoil. What happened? Lakebun's gone all the way down. Not quite sure what happened. But meanwhile, Raj and Mobs trying to battle the lead.
Oh, what happened to TJ Dragon?
TJ embedded in the track there. He is set to retire now. Unfortunately for him, that's 2 retirements.
Oh, contact! Huge contact from G! Josh Mitchell as well! Ballista is involved!
Both Dekatory cars involved. G involved. Got Josh Mitchell involved. I don't know what happened there, but I think Josh got a little too opportunistic there, or G cut off. There was a 5-car pileup from the drivers. Josh Mitchell apologizing in chat to G, but that's really unfortunate from him. I see Miko taking some liberties there with the off tracks for this race. He's using his first of the strikes. We see all the cars now going through the.
Somebody went wide!
Very wide. Guys have gone very wide, losing a lot of positions.
Touched him up a bit there.
A little naughty there from the American driver then. But as soon as we go through Chapel Court now for the first time in this race, Miko in P4, Toad down P7, Siri in P8. So Siri's made a really good move. He's battling alongside. Contact! No! Toad has gotten involved with Zeth and gotten a little bit too excited between them. Is that Siri going off? No, that was
that was Zeth. It was Zeth.
Off. So Zeth going off, unfortunately. I don't quite know what happened there. Might have just been fed up entirely, but multiple retirements this race. Scoob, Zeth, Lakebun, all retiring, as well as TJ Dragon retiring from this race.
Goodness me!
A lot happened that first lap, but Raj is in P1 at the moment. 1.5 second gap, or 1.6 now, to Morbitron in P2. Ryan P3 followed by Miko in 4. Alessio Siri making a move on Raven around the outside. Very well done for the Italian. He'll go up into P5, already challenging for the top positions. It's already been lap 2. You can see Vohey trying to make some sort of move here on the American driver. Raven goes very wide there, and she has to see the position. Going through entry now. I don't believe she'll have. Oh, she will have the DRS. Sorry, but she won't have the position on Vohey. You can see that Raven's going to have her position.
Miko got right for 3rd place.
Oh, so Miko moving up to 3rd place now, and there's Alessio Siri, and Ryan's going to be sweating bullets at the moment. He's going to have the Italian right behind him, coming through Woodcone now, on towards the Wood National Pits straight. And you can see on board now with the Italian driver. He's going to be getting quite a fair bit of time to go through cops now. And you can just see it. Oh, he's gone off track there. It's a little naughty.
Scooby disconnected. Unfortunate once again.
Unfortunate there from the Indonesian driver. Not quite able to get the results.
You can just see he's setting his overtaker. Wow.
Oh, right hand side there.
It's fairly easy for him.
Driving. Yeah, he's making it look textbook, honestly. But he'll make the move up to B4 now, going through straight, even before the apex by the looks of it. B4 now. Next target there is going to be Miko. You can see him up the road there.
Lakebun, one of the Brabham boys, disconnected. Oh, wait, sorry, he's not Brabham, right?
Right, Soteria.
Soteria Racing, yep.
So Lakebun disconnecting there, unfortunately. Barge to the fast lap 144.3. You get to see
Miko takes it away from him.
So Miko a little bit faster than the Indian driver, but doesn't quite have the gap, unfortunately. You can see Vohey battling alongside the American of Raven Whistle. Will he make some sort of move going towards turn 3? Oh, he checked up just about going towards the village. But he thinks better of it, but he's going to be right behind the American. Going through entry onto the Wellington Straight now. You can see Tobe right behind, and Gordon doing very well to himself. He's right behind the Norwegian driver, Tobe. He's going to try and make some sort of move here alongside the Norwegian. He is gaining quite considerably. Tobe goes defensive. Gordon tries to look for around the outside. Doesn't quite make it stick, so he'll keep his 9th for the meantime. He's going to try and see if he can't do anything here. And you can just see in the foreground there, Rai dropping down time and is now going to be within the clutch of the American driver. Meanwhile, Siri taking another extension there, so that's 2 already in this race. Might be 3rd, honestly, we'll have to see. But he's already gaining on Miko by the looks of it.
How fast he's going, I don't think even a penalty is going to make a difference in this race.
Oh, but you say that he's gone on the grass, he's going to lose a little bit of time by the looks of it. You're the DRS, so he might be able to draw back some of that time.
Wait, I think Raven is fighting with Scoob at the moment.
Yeah.
Rohe, sorry.
Fighting with Rohe. Rohe likes to not make that move. Oh, it's Rai, sorry.
It's Rai,
so
sorry.
Rai likes to not make the move.
Too many white
Gutsy
cars.
Yeah.
Zeth disconnected, unfortunately. It seems like Gutsy's gotten some sort of DRS penalty, not quite sure what for.
That was a bit close near the tires.
Yeah.
Says the fast lap, 1:46.9, but we
Siri takes it away from him, and Siri makes the move on Miko, off camera as well.
Wow, great showing there from him. Up into P3 now. Next up will be Morbitron, the Australian driver in P2. He's done very well for himself. He's been able to escape from the rest of the pack. But this battle for P5, sorry, is starting to shake up quite a bit. Now from P5 to P9, all the drivers
Gordon is showing in the apex.
Gordon really trying to make some sort of move here against Tobe. He's going to look towards the left-hand side now. He will have DRS down Wellington straight now. Is he going to be able to make the move?
I think it's going to be a double overtake in just one corner. It is a double overtake in one corner. He's spun!
Oh, sideways! Will he keep it straight? Just about keeps it straight, but it's not quite the move that he wanted to make from the South African driver. And now he's going to have the Australian of Gutsy for company. So the battle for P5 now goes down to 4 drivers now. You can see both Alessio now making a move on Morbitron already. That was quick. But Miko keeping track with him. So I wonder if he can be able to make some sort of move here on the Australian. Now, Alessio trying to negotiate both Magus and Beckers as well as Morbitron. It seems that Morbitron's somewhat checked up the Italian to the point that Miko might be able to capitalize on some sort of move here. He will have the DRS. You can just
off camera, Tobe make the move on Rai as well. Here we go with Siri.
Yes. As well as Gordon. I think Rai is spun. Rai's dropping down the order now, so I wonder if Rai has some sort of spin there, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think so.
Siri's made the move on Morbitron now for P2.
Miko as well, taking a look.
Oh, Miko having a little bit of a look there. Doesn't quite make any progress as a result that he's right behind the Australian driver now, going to try and battle for this P3. You see Raven in the background now is also gaining time while this battle is occurring. Morbitron might be checking up the faster guys a little bit, but he's going to be defending for his life, and honestly, good on him. Going towards turn 3 now for the 5th time in this race. Miko right behind on the gearbox of the Australian driver of that Brabham car, but nothing quite coming of it. He'll square off the corner through the loop. Now towards entry now. He will have the DRS coming down the Wellington straight. Will he be able to make some sort of move here as he goes towards Luffield now? He's gaining. Gonna look towards the left-hand side of Morbitron, and he'll make the move stick all the way before we reach Brooklyn's corner. Morbitron going very wide, so giving enough room for the Filipino driver there. Good sportsman. Shipped from the Filipino, from the Australian side and the Filipino as well. Filipino up into P3 now. And I wonder if Raven's going to be able to start to draw in Morbitron possibly, as well as Rohit by the looks of it, who's made some progress.
Siri has to make a lot of time to do. Raj has made a very good gap between them. 4.6 at the moment.
Yes, but that gap will probably start to close quite a bit. As Sato sets the fastest lap for 1:46.5, he's all the way down to P14, so he's going to try and battle out. But it's going to be interesting for the championship because both Melissa and Sato are down the order.
Yeah, both the Yakitori cars are down the below top 10 as unusual.
Yeah. Of course, both of them getting involved in the lap 1 crash with Josh Mitchell. That's probably going to be investigated. Might get a penalty for that. Meanwhile, Gusty is making the move on the South African driver of Gordon Judge. He'll go up into P7 around the outside at Stowe. Really good move there from the Brabham driver. He'll go up into P7 there. You can just see G hounding in the background. So I wonder if he's going to try and capitalize on... Oh, Gordon! Gordon making a very late move.
That was bold.
Very bold indeed. Alessio set the fast lap 1:45.6. So it seems like he's about, I want to say 8/10 maybe faster than the Indonesian driver of Raj. As we go on towards lap 6 now. You see the gap there, now dropping down to 3.9 seconds. So it seems as though the Italian is trying to really reel in the Indian driver. Both drivers, of course, prime tier teams. so they'll be battling out for their personal honor alone. You can see G has already made his way up to the rear of the South African driver for Choo Choo Racing. He will have the DRS going down the Wellington Straight now, on with him now. Will he be able to make some sort of move here? He is gaining, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough to be able to make a move going in towards Brooklands now. As someone gets a notification.
Oh my god, sorry, G locks up. I'm sorry about the
Oh.
notification, my phone is nearby.
But G, unfortunate from him, locking up through Brooklyn, so he won't be able to make the move on the South African driver quite yet. That will, of course, damage his tyre health as well. Gordon seems to be gaining alongside the Australian driver. Will he make some sort of move towards Cops? He has a little bit of a look, but not enough. Will he be able to scare the Australian driver off a little bit? Both keeping it legal, keeping it on the back side, good on them both. But it seems that Gordon has a very racy car underneath them for Choo Choo Racing against the Brabham. So I wonder if he's going to try and make some sort of move here, coming down the hangar straight. Now through Beckett's now, coming out of
Oh! Bit slidey!
Gordon really fighting the car and some. He will have the DRS and Slipstream. He is within the striking zone. On the Australian driver, you can really see he's gaining. Meanwhile, Starter is making the move with Galaxy for P12. As he tries to make some sort of recovery drive, he really make the move.
I think they made overtake. I'm very sorry about that.
Gordon and G both battling here as Gusty, Gusty, sorry, not G. Lex to go into the pit, so Gordon will assume P7 for the meantime. But let's just hit the fast lap 145.4.
Right, I apologize
so now the gap
for
is
that.
down.
Sorry.
Now the gap is down to 2.6 seconds between the Italian driver and the Indian driver, not the Indonesian driver. Those are different nations. Gordon now to P6 as the drivers start to make their first pit stop around lap 7. And it seems that the lap 7 was the golden spot for the pit stops for race 1. So I suspect that the drivers are going to be doing something similar for race 2 here. It seems as though Rory, Hay, Gutsy, and Ballista are all electing to pit this lap.
Okay, well, there's a no from the action, so there's a confirmation in the live chat that Lake Bun says, I crashed with the same guy in the race 1 and race 2. So, yep, we have a confirmation from Lake Bun there with the incident that happened on both races.
That's unfortunate, so there might be a little bit of animosity
Oh,
there between Lake Bun.
Tobel just hit the wall?
What?
Maybe I didn't quite see that, unfortunately, but Tobel loses a lot of time there and he'll lose position now down to P8 for the Norwegian driver. What if his tyres have gone off or something?
Probably have been. What do you think, Flying Saint?
Yeah, that's a very weird corner to like stop on the side of. So yeah, it's very hard to say what happened there. Yeah.
Quite confusing. Anyway, a battle for P5 here. I don't think it's net P5, unfortunately, but battle for P5 nonetheless between G and Gordon. G's going to have the DRS and the slipstream down the hangar straight now, down towards Stowe. Will he be able to make some sort of move? He's really gaining against the Choo Choo driver car, but he won't be able to make a move going in towards Stowe, but he's looking around the outside here. A little bit deep, but he will be able to cut back here. Will he try to make some sort of opportunistic dive?
No, he dives down the
likes to go
pits.
into the pits. Different type of dive, unfortunately, but the Australian driver will make his scheduled pit stop. Meanwhile, Alessio is now in DRS range on the Indian driver of Raj. So it's going to be a
little bit mixed up, are you? Quite a bit today.
wee bit. They sound like they're similar, like sounding names.
Indian, Indonesian. They both start with IN.
And D.
And D, yeah, exactly.
But meanwhile,
forgive
Sui
you.
now
Less
dropping
than a
the
second now.
down. Less than half a second now.
Dude is really chopping down the gap.
As Gordon's just been pinged for illegal DRS usage in lap 8, so wonder how that's going to look in his post-race investigation. But Alessio really drawing up alongside that Indonesian driver. Every time. Indian driver. Raj is Indian. He is Indian, kindred. He is not Indonesian. The Indonesians are Scoob and Lakebot. There was a difference. You can see the difference in the flag.
Z confirmation on the chat says, was running P8, but I think I was lagging. No choice but to retire. Bruh. Unfortunate for Z
the
there.
Filipino. The battle for P1 here, side to side, so quite a bit. The Italian right behind the Indian driver, and both are
Both
towards
of them.
going to the pits.
Now it's a question who goes out first.
Yep. So strategy is going to be a deciding factor here, and the drivers are going to have to make sure that they get this perfectly done. Warbtron goes into the pits as well, and I believe Miko's too far behind,
Can
unfortunately.
we just say well done for Gordon? Made 12 places in this race. Well, so
yeah,
far.
Gordon did very well for himself, flying the flag there for Choo Choo Racing while his teammate had to retire. He's been doing very well for himself.
Alessio went out first.
Alessio jumped Raj, so he'll soon the lead coming out of the pits here. And I wonder if Gordon's going to get involved here as well. He will. So Gordon will keep the two drivers.
He takes the what do you call it again? First place.
Yeah, he'll take the race lead here. So the South African Minister of Defence will have a perfect opportunity to showcase why he gets that moniker here. He'll battle against the only Alessio Siri, the Italian driver, getting a little bit squirrely coming out of the exit there of Village in towards Aintree now, down the Wellington Straight. So he will have the DRS here, but as will Raj. Raj seems to be gaining a little bit of time, but not enough to be able to capitalize here and to see the Indian driver here. But I wonder if Gordon's going to hold up the Italian to some extent. He will have the better traction, I believe, on the South African driver as well as the slipstream as we go through Woodcourt now down towards Cops. And I wonder if Alessio is going to make some sort of move here. He looks towards the right-hand side, but your leg's better of it, keeping the racing line now for the most part.
Well, Gordon is known for being the train as Rush goes well wide there.
Yep, right from him there. Wonder if that's going to be some sort of penalty if he's trying to use the stripes while he has the
Gordon is defending hard, but Series
really for his life. And Raj will be able to get involved in this here. Will he make some sort of double overtake? He's going to go towards the middle. He's going to go down towards hold your breath, ladies and gentlemen. Raj and Siri and Gordon will try to make a move here for the first position. Siri will make the move into P1. Raj will make the move into P2. But Raj is right behind the Italian driver. Will he make some sort of move in towards the chicane? Alessio goes defensive. Raj will try to keep the racing line here for the most part. But it seems that the Italian is able to make the move up into P1. Great racing with the drivers, and somehow they kept it all clean.
Wow, Gordon really managed to held him up in the straight. The conductor is really good at maintaining places.
South African Minister for Defence showcasing why he's got that moniker. And meanwhile, while that was all happening, Ballista was retired from the race, so no points from him today. Interestingly enough.
Wow, okay.
So I wonder how that's going to fare in the championship because Sato is still electing to run.
Gordon
is down in P12 himself.
Yep.
The Yakitori drivers are not having a good second race here.
Yeah.
No, they got involved in the first lap crash with G, Josh, Mitchell, I believe Vi as well, so all the Yakitori cars get involved. Oh, meanwhile, Gordon's had a contact with
my
G.
god!
Oh.
Gordon had a bigger contact with G, and I was just on board of that, unfortunately. So Gordon outbroke himself and ran in towards the Australian. Seems that they might both have damage. And I believe Gutsy will be able to capitalize this to some extent. You can just see Gutsy, Rai, and Tobe as well. They're going to be gaining on the South African driver, who's already. You just made this to somebody. He's probably going to have damage here as Tobe makes a move on the Japanese Nova Yakitori car for P9. Good showing him. You can just see his teammate in the background of Raven. Wonder if the Americans could be able to make some.
Rai's fighting back.
Driver. Rai not taking the position, lying down, but it's probably going to compromise his exit on us. So you can see that the gap is starting to widen on the Norwegian driver, and you can just see in the background now on board with Raven. The gap is starting to decrease quite considerably between the Japanese and the American driver.
Well wide.
Raven goes very wide. So that's probably going to be a strike there. She did lose quite a bit of time, to be fair, so I wonder if she got off the gas in anticipation. So it might not be a strike, but we'll have to see from the race director and the stewards. But she is gaining through Baggers, Beckers and Chapel there. But now with Gutsy, he's going to not quite be able to make some sort of move there. But I think Raven might be in striking distance against Rai. Yep, she'll make the move here. You can just see in the background there that Raven made the move against Rai.
Contact between the wheels!
Contact. Bit of contact there, and the Kame car hopping up a little bit on the exit of Stowe. Will Rai make try to make some sort of retaliation move? No, he thinks better of it, so he'll keep that P10 for the meantime. I wonder if both drivers have some sort of damage on the cars.
I think Raven went wide there, with way past the white lines. Who was on the AstroTurf.
The Raven goes quite wide there, and that's going to give Rai an opportunity to make some sort of move here. He's using all the track and then some. Coming in towards turn 3 now. Doesn't seem as though he's quite close enough to be able to make a move on the American. He'll lock up as it goes into the turn off the corner. Seems that the American driver is starting to pull out a little bit, and she'll maybe get involved in the battle here for P7 by the looks of it, just behind her teammate of Tobolo. So the two Kamikaze drivers doing pretty well for themselves for the second race.
It's definitely a championship with both the Yakitori drivers out. This is a Might as well.
It's definitely
Two
gonna
two
open
wins
up.
on the top. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely
Intrigued
gonna
to see.
open up with the mystery team.
Yes, it will, honestly. Rohe in P5, he might be able to challenge somewhat for the race, the league championship. If I can get my words out. Mortron, though, we have to mention P4 at the moment, doing very well for himself there. A little bit of a low on the action moment. I say that as Gusty trying to make a move on the South African driver here. Seems to get a better exit on Gordon. Gordon seems to have the straight line speed on the
He's not gaining
driver.
a bit.
No, he's not. In fact, I think he's losing time actually.
Yeah.
So it seems the Australian not quite able to reel in the South African driver there. Gordon
Oh,
just
well,
about able to. Oh,
They
both
followed
go
him, yeah. Well, Toba is there to capitalize on those mistakes.
3 wide! 3 wide through the chicane there. Toby will be able to make the move here. Oh, no, you won't actually. Now it's going to leave him susceptible here to the American driver of Raven with Sport. She's going to try and make some sort of a move here against her teammate, but you can see his line is third. So literally, nose to tail between the 3 cars there.
Tons of harassment there.
Choo-choo racing between Babin racing and between Kame Kame. Gusty will look towards the outside. Nothing comes in. Oh, something comes over though. What a move from the Australian driver. He'll one on the South African driver now.
There's still 3 wide going into the straight.
And it seems that the 2 Kame Kame drivers are going to try and make some sort of move.
Raven hit the move with Tob. No, he's still side by side.
Still side by side now between the 2 Kame Kame drivers. And last of the late breakers here. Got to keep it clean between the teammate here. Rule 1 of racing. Don't crash into your teammate. Seems as though Raven's able to make the move. Where's Tobe gone? Tobe gone off.
Tobe gone off?
Oh.
Oh,
I think Tobe looked up. And the Japanese driver Vi's been able to capitalize it. He'll go into P10. He'll have the DRS now against Raven. And you can see the battle for P7 really starting to spice up here. Raven gaining on the South African driver of Gordon. Gusty trying to eke out some sort of...
Oh no!
Gordon goes really slow. Oh, and they have to check up here. And I think that'll give the opportunity for Vi to make some sort of move. He'll go towards the right-hand side now. Yep, there we go. Making the move there through Maggots into Beckett now. Raven not going to be taking that line down. She's going to be trying to make the move on the Japanese driver again. And Gordon will also be quite susceptible here on not only the Japanese driver, but the American driver. And you can just see in Raven's mirrors there, you can see Tobe getting just slightly bigger in the foreground there. Vi goes defensive. He's not going to quite make a move there. He'll get it all along there. He'll slide wide. Missing the apex there through Tobe.
Opportunity for a dive here.
And
he does take it. Not quite though, not yet.
No, not quite though. The Japanese driver just about keeping his nose in. He'll keep the position there.
Oh my god.
And Raven pushed wide as a result. Will Tobe be able to make something move? It doesn't look like it though. And there's a little bit of animosity between the 2 drivers here for Nova Yakatoy and Kame Kame. Both Kame Kame cars now. Side by side, Tobe will make some sort of move going into turn 3. Will he be able to make that stick?
This looks like she's wide there.
Seems as though Raven's being very respectful of her teammates, making sure they don't get involved in any sort of contact here. But it seems as though Tobe won't be able to capitalize on any type of move here. So line aside now for the most part, going through entry now onto the Wellington Straight. Seems as though the 2 Kame Kame cars are losing time in comparison to the Nova Yakatoy car. Will Tobe go towards the inside now? He'll send it through Booklands. What an absolute send there. Will he be able to keep it stuck for the most part? I think he will. So it's a good send there from the Norwegian driver. But Ravens will be right behind the Norwegian. And it's a great battle here between the 2 Kame Kame drivers. Probably isn't good for points position, but it is great entertainment.
True.
And meanwhile, as the 2 Nova Yakatoy, 2 Kame Kame drivers, starting to battle the Nova Yakatoy car of Vi, starting to make a bit of a gap here, as is the Choo-Choo Racing of Gordon. And you can just see G there in the background. So let's see, it's the fastest lap 145.0. Another effective qualifying lap from him. Seems like he'll be able to take the race victory as we head towards the final lap now. Meanwhile, back towards where the action is happening at the moment, it seems as though Raven has dropped off a little bit from his her teammate, who's getting it back up here through the slipstream, down towards the hanging straight, in towards Stone now for the second to last time. And it seems as though that it's all on its own for the most part. No driver really gaining or losing, no mistakes really happening between all the 4 drivers here. As I say that, Gordon seems to be getting a wide there through the chicane, and Vi will take the sausage cover, big crunch here from the Nova Yakatoy car. That's probably not going to be very healthy for his suspension. He's probably going to lose time too as a result. I think, yeah, that is correct. It seems as though that the Norwegian driver of Turbolobe has gained upon Vi here to go towards the final lap.
Whoa!
Vi goes defensive for a little bit there. Oh my goodness. So many things are happening at the moment. Seems like Gordon's made the move there on
Yeah, and he went wide. Still wide.
But Gordon will go wide there, and Vi will be able to make the move back on the South African driver. He's going to get cut off now, and it's nose to tail between the 4 drivers. The Japanese, the South African, the Norwegian, and the American. Gordon will make a move towards Rookers now for the final turn against the Japanese driver of Vi. He'll be able to make it stick, at least the apex. He will be able to keep it clean through left field. Yes, he will. That Alex gives Tobe the opportunity to make some sort of move here against the Nova Yakatoy car, and they all get on the power, and I can see Wave really battling it with the Kame car. Heading down towards Woodco now for the final time, down the National Pit Straight. But great showing there from Alessio Sealy. He'll take the victory in race 2 here. Great showing from the Italian. He'll take a very conclusive victory here at Silverstone. He'll win the round. But going back towards where the action is, going back to where the action is at the moment, seems the Raven has lost time at the moment, but it seems like Gordon's got all sorts of wrong there through Chapel, and that'll give the opportunity for Vi to make a move down the hangar straight now for the final time. GRS activated for all 4 drivers. What will happen between all the drivers here? Vi will towards the left-hand side. Gordon will towards the right.
P8, yeah?
Oh, they're both wide! They're both sideways!
Tobe gets sideways, he makes contact, he'll go wide, he'll go off. That'll give Raven the opportunity to make some sort of move
Gordon made the move!
Gordon will make the move here! Will Raven be able to make some sort of move here on the 2 drivers? I'm out of breath and words here!
Oh my god, he just got
What was that? What a battle for P8, and I'm out of words.
Wow! Did Gordon just...
What a race!
Gordon just defended it on the right time and in the right place.
The Minister for South African Defense showing why he's named such. Wow!
How are you feeling after that?
That was orgasmic!
Oh my goodness.
Jesus! My heart just dropped there.
Breather after that.
Oh dear God, that was so intense.
With the running order for race 1, Alessio will take P1, a perfect round for him. He'll take the fastest lap for both races as well. The victory P2 for Raj, great showing from him. He sorely needed that podium. P3 for Miko, so he's probably going to be challenging for the high positions in the championship, followed by Morbitron, Rohe in P5, G in P6, Gusty in P7, Rai in 8, in that amazing battle for P8, followed by Gordon in 9th, Raven in 10th,
yeah, there must
Tobe
be...
in 11th.
There must be
followed
a code...
by Sato.
Sorry, go on.
Followed by Sato in 12th as he's doing his cooldown. Galaxy in 13th, so a pretty good showing for him. Ballista in the non-finishers, as well as Josh, Legbun, Scoob, Zeth, and TJ Dragon being the non-finishers for this race.
You must be clenching your ass after that. Once the way Gordon closed the door on the apex itself is in the right time and in the right moment. That was something else.
Oh, it was incredible.
I don't know about you, but but the hair in my arms just went up after that. I'm getting the chills.
Yeah, mine did too. My goodness, and what a way to end off round 2 here at Silverstone.
That was the best way to end it.
That was incredible. Incredible racing from the drivers there. But absolute kudos between.
But unfortunately for the Yakitori team, they opened up the championship once again for the mystery team.
Yeah, so the championship's starting to widen quite a bit between all the drivers. The server does its routine, and I think this is pretty much a good time to close it off.
Yeah.
Any lasting words from you two?
Code Brown, that's what I'm going to say.
Especially the reverse grid race. There are some really good battles.
Oh my god. That was something else. That's not just a battle right there. That's something else.
That was incredible. Simply incredible.
That's the racing that I wanted to see between the drivers. Hard, fair.
Yeah, and that's the racing that you will see here on Artito Formula 3 Championship. Join us next week for round 3 at Imola, where hopefully we'll be able to replicate that type of action. But oh my goodness. That was incredible. So, from all of us here at Artito Racing, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've been entertained. If you haven't, I mean, how can we entertain you at that point, really? Thank Thank you very much all for watching. I will see you in a week's time for Imbler. I've been Kindred Garlic. Thank you very much for watching and goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Ending the stream now.